I love it. I'm yeah, because obviously, oh look, oh there's some contentious sandwich theory scrolling on your screen right
Lots of
now.
content, Garrett. This is great content. Yeah.
I love it.
Thank you.
It's I honestly, and I mean like super credit to you, like your username is so like easy to pick out. Like it's so yeah,
Thank you.
it
Thank you.
is fantastic.
Yeah, I give a lot of credit to my cousin who coined my name years and years ago. Like it's just a funny thing he said about he caught me eating a sandwich. He says, Davey's eating a sandwich, and that's how I got my name, and I just carried it over to Twitch later. So I was like, I appreciate you. Thank you for that. That's,
That make honestly that makes me so happy, and you and I have a very similar origin to usernames.
oh, nice. Is that your?
Like an incredibly similar origin story.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was my at the time boyfriend, my now husband. We were playing a round of disc golf, and I ended up I there wasn't a lot of like room on the scorecard, and so I abbreviated my name Caro because my name is Carolyn. Um, and he was like, "Oh, Caro, like carrot." And I went, "No," which was the worst thing I possibly could have said, because immediately that just became the nickname was Carrot, and that was it.
And that was it. That's true.
Like, and now of like I've got like, I've got a little carrot keychain like hanging off my purse.
Yes.
And of course then we took a year of German, and then it became Karrotte, so that's just yeah, that was it right there.
Karrotte.
Yes, it's carrot in German.
That's
Die
fantastic.
Karrotte.
That is so good. Charlie the Goddess and Crickster, welcome in. It's great to see you. Nice to see everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. We have the sandwiches. We have the D&D. This is gonna be a fun one tonight, everybody. Looking forward. But yeah, this is a really great time. How are the wines before we start officially? Like, what's the wine game like these days? Anything in particular you have your eye on?
Ooh, for me, anything in like because it is the fantastic kind of spring season, I'm all like we've gone through like the winter where you're going to be drinking like a heartier red, and now all of a sudden you can like go and get yourself some like Gamay Noir or Beaujolais. I know I picked up some Pinot the other day. I am all about the cold climate Pinots. That is something Ontario does an amazing job of is the cold climate Pinot Noirs. So yes, that is what is really big in the wine game right now.
Pinot. Oh, it's a good time for it too. Like eventually the weather will warm up and it'll be perfect weather for such a drink. Yeah.
It is a pretty perfect time,
Yeah.
and of course right now it's we're dealing with, I'm not to go like super heavy for a second, but like we're dealing with some really big issues in like the BC wine industry right now. They've had two really bad harvests in a row. They've
Oh
had
no.
a cold snap that has absolutely just devastated the crops. So like right now, I if you have the opportunity to buy Pacific Northwest wine, if you can buy BC wine, like absolutely do so, because it is
Yeah.
really saving some producers up in that area.
Oh, thank you for mentioning that. I'm really sorry about that situation. Hopefully that comes around though. It's always tough when that happens.
Man,
Yeah. Jerfo, great to see you. What's going on, Jerfo, the music addict? Shout out to our friend Jerfo. Let's go start this up. This is very welcome in, everyone. So good to see y'all. Kara, we didn't even get to the sandwich part. I can't wait to see what you have. I'll bring us in. I'll bring us in for sandwiches momentarily. Hello, Jerfo. Great to see you. Thank you for hanging out. It's nice to see you back on stream for a little bit. Folks, welcome to the Sandwich Show. Nice to see you back. I'm Davey. Hello there. I'm your host this evening. And each week we feature someone cool from the content creator world. Tonight, we're really privileged to have for you our good friend, who's not only, as we mentioned, a fan of wine, fan of books, fan of Dungeons and Dragons, fan of dice, and fan of carrots, I guess now. Let's give
I
it.
mean,
Let's introduce
there's no better intro.
let's introduce our friend, the Karrotte. How's it going, Karrotte?
How are you?
I'm doing well. It's great to see you, my friend. It's all nice to have you here. I've been looking forward to this for a while. Like you've always been really fun. You're a great conversationalist on stream, and I know that when whenever any of us are in chat on your channel, at any point, whether it's just a regular stream or for a Dino stream for us or any other big event, um, great conversations are had, debates are had, ideas, writing. It's just so much fun. So, welcome. This is our channel. This is what we do. We converse as well. Um, but yeah, it's a great time. Now you've been on Twitch for a pretty solid amount of time now. I'm assuming at this point maybe like 3 or 4 years, maybe more.
Honestly, I'd have to like yell down the hallway and actually ask like Mothman that question because I legitimately don't know at this point because it's been a solid amount of time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really bad about celebrating those kinds of things. I've been joking with my mods that I need to like actually have like a proper celebration where we just celebrate like everything all at the same time where it's like, okay, we hit 700 followers and we finished edits on the book and you know what, screw it, let's celebrate like all of the affiliate anniversaries that I haven't done.
Mm-hmm.
And just do like one big like 7-hour stream and just be like, hey, we finally did it.
I want to see a Karrotte 7-hour stream. Let's go. Who says no to that? Oh, Mothman's here. What's going on, Mothman? Great to see you. Thank you so much for joining us.
There we go. Now we've got an answer. December, whenever he started streaming, go like 3 months after that, and that is when I started.
I love that so much. Now, Moth, can you shout out Mothman 92 as well? Like, I want to tell you, in Mothman and Karrotte, you have one of the most talented couples on the entire platform. It's impressive, like what you all can do. Like, it's amazing. So Mothman specializes in electronics, and I think I've seen some 3D printing on there. You're specializing in not only books and conversation writing and wine tasting, but also impressive jazzification of situations, like turning things into really fun little parody ditties or other kind of ditties. And I'm honestly really, that's not easy to do. It's something you should never take for granted. So it's really cool that you incorporate that into your channel.
Oh, thank you. It's honestly, I'm just laughing at like legitimately on Saturday morning it was I like jokingly was like, you know what, we're gonna try All Star. It's already like kind of jazzy. Let's see if we can actually like make it a little bit jazzier. And you know what? Like normally I'll only do like, so for those of you who are just meeting me for the first time, my favorite thing to do is called a jazzy carrot, where I take like top 40 and then I quote unquote, I say ruin it. Realistically speaking, it's what I do in the house. Mothman has to listen to me do this all the time, where I randomly like walk down the hallway and I'm just like, most of the time it's like maybe like if he's lucky it'll actually be like something from Broadway. Mm-hmm. Like I saw Hadestown last year and all of a sudden I was just walking through the house just anyway the wind blows, like just like up and down the hallway constantly. Whereas, you know, I all of a sudden like, let's try doing Smash Mouth, and like, okay, so what happens? Like instead of it doing offbeat, let's try on the beat. Like let's do like, and again, I mean, I'm very lucky. I'm not trying to do what you're doing and like playing an instrument at the same time as singing. All I am doing is just riffing on an idea, and it's honestly become one of my favorite things that I do, and I actually managed to work it into a work event a couple weeks ago. I'm like, just fire me now, it's all good.
Oh, that's fan. I wish I was there for that. That's so good.
Well, I foolishly didn't realize that like one of the city councilors was actually going to be in attendance. So like this guy that's like actually like legitimately a big deal in the city. Like I all of a sudden I kind of like look into the back of the room and I'm like, I'm about to sing in front of this gentleman. Like, oh no, this is not a person that I'd really want to like. And I was literally doing Taylor Swift. I was literally doing Shake It Off. And I was like, okay, well, I guess this is happening now. And it was so funny because he came up to me after the thing. He's like, that was really impressive. And I was like, oh my God, please forget about this. I'm like, I can never do anything in city politics now. Not that I wanted to. But now it's like, it's very John Mulaney of like, not unless everybody gets, gets really cool with everything really fast.
Oh, for sure. I hear that. I hear that. Well, Jambalaya is a thing around the Twitch first, though. So to be fair, so maybe that's a good angle actually. So, um, let's see. Catching up on chat, Mothman says gets to listen to it. Yes, and which, by the way, we have tickets to now, Carrot. Ah, interesting observation.
Yes. Oh, I'm so excited. We are Hadestown is coming back
Mm-hmm.
to our area. Which is this is like the benefit of living adjacent to the quote unquote center of the world for Canada, aka Toronto. So we get a lot of the Broadway stuff coming back through.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've seen Six 3 times since it started its run here in Toronto. That I have a problem. Yeah. Anyways, but yes, Hadestown is coming back, and Mothman didn't see it the last time it was here. So now he finally gets to understand why I walk up and down the hallway singing about the way the wind blows and how I will always, wait for him. So there you go, all that fun stuff.
Beautiful. And Jorfos redeemed the bone of contention.
I don't know if you've got enough channel points for that, my friend.
Is that normally a lot?
It's it is one of my channel point redeems on my channel.
Ah,
I do have the trombone in the background. And it is yeah, this is basically my dirty secret is that I was a massive, not that it's a secret, I think you can tell this by the everything about me, that I was a massive band geek in high school, and that was my instrument. I played the trombone, and I was in like the regional jazz all-star band in like grade 10, and got to play in the National Youth Concert Band in senior year, and just was a massive nerd. So every so often, I this has actually been like my thing that I've been goofing around with, is trying to get back into playing again and trying to remember, like trying to get the chops back. So yeah, that is my that is everything. And apparently Toby would like to be featured on this stream as well.
hey Toby, it's nice to meet you, Toby. I saw
Hey, one
Toby in the
second.
corner.
Hi, buddy. Are you here to say hello? This is the other part of my streams. I sing, and then the dog pops up, and then maybe we
Aw,
write.
hi Toby.
There you go.
Yay.
Are you here to say hello? Are you here to say hello to everybody? There you
Hi
go.
Toby.
So that's the Toby. You say hello. Can you say hello? No, you can't. You're busy eating because you've never been fed. He's never been fed. Right, buddy? Right? I know. There you go, bud. He's like, I've got my treat. I'm good now.
Toby's awesome. That's great. It's great to see a cameo from Toby. Nice to see you, Toby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing like a trombone slide for me. Like anytime you get to utilize that bone and run it up and down, like that's just a fun time. Like that sounds great. Yeah.
It is honestly, it was a really fun time, and I got to go to a lot of fun music festivals,
Mm-hmm.
and it's always the really fun thing. Like it's a really good instrument to know how to play when you're playing like two truths and a lie,
Mm-hmm.
because this is what everybody thinks is the lie. Because
Oh,
why would you have played the trombone?
but you can. Like, I don't see that being far fetched. But I understand what you're saying because, like, it's not the first thing people think. We were already talking about like you're big on books. You love music and wine and theater and things like that. It's like there's a lot of cool interests. You're right. That probably would like get you some points in these kind of contests. So pretty
Yep.
interesting. Yeah.
Especially when I lead with like a little bit of like love of sports, with like playing
Mm-hmm.
softball for a million years and like everything else. It's very much like, apparently I am the well-rounded person. My parents, somewhere my mother is like, yes, that's right, you are well-rounded. um and like, just getting a chance to do so many different things, that it's made it like, Mothman and I have a joke that between the two of us, people can say almost anything and one of us will have an opinion about it, because we're a household that has a million different interests.
That's a phenomenal. But then you'd be great at parties then if that's true. Like, you'll never be boring at a party. That's in that case.
From your lips, let's just go with that.
Yeah. What's your take on marshmallows?
Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure that one of us can probably riff on marshmallows on some form of like trust me, I'd probably find it in a book at some point in time. We'd get, yeah, I'm pretty sure Mothman could come up with something about like the structural integrity of a marshmallow because he's the engineer. We'll see what he has to say. F tier unless toasted. There you go.
That's reasonable, especially like the cereal marshmallows. But the cereal marshmallows have a special brand. Like, oof.
Are those marshmallows?
I don't know.
This this is what the people are here for, Davey. This is your moment.
Yeah,
Are cereal marshmallows marshmallows?
I know. They're so hard. It's weird, right? Like I can't think of them as a traditional marshmallow. Maybe the concept is when you put them in the milk, they get softer, but they don't. They just kind of,
But they disintegrate.
yeah, they do.
So is it the case of like, yeah, no, here you go. This is the philosophical conversation that you were expecting to have this evening about marshmallows. This was it, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a great call. It's a great springboard for a great conversation. Charlie says no. I'm with you, Charlie. Mothman says I think of it is like asking if a crouton is bread. That's a great way to put it.
Mothman, that's a whole other conversation talking about like bread versus toast versus crouton versus there's a whole lengthy debate when you get into that. And then what can be a crouton? Can focaccia be a crouton? Can a croissant be a crouton?
There's so much to unpack there. I mean, I never really know what kind of bread it is when I'm eating them, so I'm not sure. I always assume it's sourdough, but I have no idea. I've seen dark ones too,
Ooh.
so that's
Ooh.
good. Yeah, sourdough is great, right? Like, I mean,
S tier.
yeah,
It's probably one of my favorite. It might be one of my favorite kinds of bread. And
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, the second that you started talking about like the different kinds of crouton, it's like I see cubes of bread, dark ones too. They're sourdough. They've got some chew, and I think to myself, bread is bread is bread.
What a wonderful bread. That's great. Oh my goodness. And Mothman says, and homemade marshmallows are massively overrated and overpriced. I've never had a homemade marshmallow. That's an interesting concept. What would that be
And
like?
artisanal marshmallows, like I know we're starting to see them in like
Yeah.
I wish I was joking. Like the big like chunky like square ones
Mm-hmm.
whenever you go to like a little like kind of like a farmer's market or like a maker market of some kind, there's like, yes, all kinds of, oh yeah, no, Mothman. There you go. Mothman finishes the lyric all the
It's
time.
beautiful.
It's quite frustrating because I'll sing it and then like 10 seconds later when the chat delay comes through, he's got the perfect line.
I think to myself, what a wonderful loaf. I love it.
I like it.
Yeah.
We'll just record it. This is the CD right here. This is the demo.
But didn't you have like Streamfest the musical at one point? Like that was really. I'm still waiting for the ticket pre-save link for that. I'm getting in line for that one.
Oh man, I will 100% say like I know like when it comes to like Daniel Allard Streamfest, I know a lot of people have, the opinion of like you just jump in there and you just kind of let it happen to you and you wing it. And this household does not do the wing it thing that easily, which means that when it comes time to do, like, whenever we have a Streamfest slot, the second that we're named in that, a spreadsheet comes out and we have 30 minutes, and this is what we are doing down to the minute within that Streamfest slot. And so, like, when it came time to do things like Mothman's Finish It stream, that was an incredible spreadsheet. Like that was a thing of beauty. And when it came time for like Dino the musical, because came based off of like Jazzy Carrots, like that was, I like literally sat down and went, okay, like, so if this is the tempo you're about to do this at, like, is this actually going to happen, or like can you actually fit all of this into 30 minutes? So yes, that was so much fun. I love, like, nothing makes me happier than like doing parody lyrics. That is like my favorite thing. And like somewhere like secretly in my soul, like there's a version of me in an alternate universe that is doing like Whose Line Is It Anyway with Colin Mockery and Wayne Brady. Like there's like the deep secret from like my soul is like that's what I wish I was doing.
That's a great bar to aspire to. Those folks were amazing. What a good show that was too. Yeah, good times.
Yeah.
I remember it well.
They were fantastic. Good
Oh,
Vancouver connections there too. Like a little Canadian connection,
oh,
right?
definitely with
So
Colin, right? Yeah, 100%, 100%.
well, and Ryan Stiles grew up in Steveston,
Oh, no
like
kidding.
in
Oh,
British Columbia. Yeah.
right on, right on. All right, Karrotte. Let's not keep the people waiting any further. Let's bring in our favorite and tastiest segment on all of Twitch. Well, one of them. Time for the oh, there we go. Sandwich of the week. Welcome everybody. And now on to our friend the Karrotte with your sandwich of the week. What do you have for us, Karrotte?
All right. So because it's me, I I had to go literary for this because you made me think about something today that I had not thought about in a very long time. And so my sandwich of the week is comes courtesy of Rules of the Road by Joan Bauer.
Ooh.
And you can see that this is a very, very, very well-worn copy of this book. Um, this here, we're just gonna age me really fast. This was the winner of the 1998 Los Angeles Times Book Prize. Just don't do any math. Don't do any math whatsoever there. Um, this was like the book that informed like my like teenage years. This was it's the honestly I still recommend this to like parents who are looking to do book clubs with their kids.
Mhm.
And it's this girl that ends up she's working for a yes 1998 Charlie.
No
uh
math, Charlie. No math.
don't do math, do no math. And it's the story of a girl who's about 16 years old. She's working in this shoe store, and the owner of the shoe store, it's this big like really family owned kind of shoe store across America, hires her to drive her the I think their headquarters in Chicago down to Texas. And it's this really formative time of like driving and figuring out who she is, and all of that to say that there is a sandwich in this book that I am still like I literally, as far as I'm concerned, this is the greatest description of a sandwich that made me want, like I was like standing in the kitchen with this person um where she's making this sandwich on after a really hard day. So I stood at the long-tiled kitchen counter, brushing olive oil on thick oatmeal bread.
Oh.
I spread the other side with honey mustard, layered on cheddar cheese, tomato slices, and sautéed Canadian bacon, placed a slice of oatmeal bread on the top, put the two sandwiches in a cast iron skillet, sizzling with butter. Miss Gladstone leaned against the opposite wall, watching me. Never miss a good opportunity to shut up, he'd said. And I kept quiet, flipped the sandwiches when they got perfectly browned on one side. We were standing there as different as two human beings on this earth could be, and yet we were connected via this sandwich. So that was, yes, that
Oh,
was
my
like
heart.
when you said sandwich, this
Mm-hmm.
was immediately I went hunting through my bookshelves and then like did a big speed read through this book today to find the description of this like grilled cheese sandwich that has stayed with me for, let's do math now, 26 years. Is that math?
Okay, Charlie, we're good
Sure.
for math now. We've done the math. Charlie did the math too. Okay, right on.
Right. 1998 was only 10 years ago. Yes, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely, that
Jamin.
is exactly what
I
it
love
was.
that. I love that. Jamin, it's great to see you. By the way, welcome in. Um, wow, what an awesome description. What an amazing description for a sandwich. Phenomenal. I
It
appreciate it.
just like what, and you know what, and now that I'm like sitting here, I'm like, what is oatmeal bread? Is that like a really like nice like oat, like an oat bread? Is it a
I
like a really, yeah,
I'm very curious about that. I mean, that's the first thing that kind of stuck with me is like the oatmeal bread is like oatmeal bread. You can make bread out of oatmeal. I never even knew that. I'm very
I
intrigued.
I feel like this is just like this is very much a this is a task. I'm making notes here of things that I need to research. I've literally written down marshmallows. I've written down oatmeal bread. It is just an ongoing list at this point in time.
Well, I'm gonna have to track down that book at some point. See if I can find. Not only that, but I gotta track down some oatmeal bread. Will 7 grain or will 12 oat bread like be sufficient? Will that be a reasonable substitute? Because like I've never seen an oatmeal bread. I'm excited now. Like I want to see it.
There you go. So that is my contribution to sandwiches this evening. I'm like it had to be on brand for me. There you go.
This is one of
That's
the
what I had
most.
to offer.
I really appreciate that. It was really, really, really great. A great passage indeed. One of the most well written descriptions of a sandwich I've ever heard in my life. Like big time props to who was the person's name?
Joan Bauer.
Joan Bauer.
Phenomenal. Was just honestly all of her books. I sorry, this is the side. There's also a thing on Mothman's channel called the Carrot Rant, and someone could very easily redeem a Carrot Rant and just say talk about Joan Bauer, and I would go for like the next like 3 hours because she was one of the first authors that I found who wrote strong, quirky female characters that
Mm-hmm.
I actually identified with in fiction growing up. Like one of her biggest books. I'm like going and looking for it. It's show and tell right now. She wrote a book about a girl who was a championship pumpkin grower. I don't know what the horticulturalist or whatever. And it was all about this girl who was trying to manage going to high school and like a first crush and like growing this championship pumpkin all at the same time while trying to and of course being this like pumpkin farmer is like defying her parents' wishes. And it was honestly, it was such a fun book.
Mm-hmm.
And like honestly, it like every time, as I said, you can see the fact that like this copy is beat to shit. Literally there's a chunk missing out of a page. Like this is yeah, this book has been around for like a solid, when was this run? Yeah, this was done in 1998. This was like the first run of this
Mm-hmm.
book, and it has been read over and over and over. So, right, yeah, you know what? Probably did eat some paper because, of course, that's exactly who I am as a person. I was probably just, yes. There you
Is
go.
that one of your
That is,
regulars there? That
yeah, that's
Hi,
Bry.
Bri. Nice to meet you. Hungry for knowledge, of course. Reading is fundamental and also nourishing. Why don't I offer my sandwich of the week? Not nearly as good a description, but I'll make up for it in visuals. This is a hamburger. This is from my local deli. This cheeseburger is sometimes the kind of thing you need after you go through days that you go through, right? But you got the fries. These fries are really good, by the way. You got your pickle. Um, this almost turned into a Pittsburgh burger because there were fries stuck in the cheese on the sandwich. It came open faced, but I took the fries off of there, so this is just a regular hamburger tonight. But there you go, nice deli cheeseburger, and it looks really good with American cheese tonight. So, um, yes.
Oh, is that a nice like smashed patty that I'm seeing there?
That's a good question. I didn't really investigate that. Let's go take a look at that together. It's definitely in the name. Yeah, it really does have that. It looks like it is. Yeah, it's
Like
a
it
pretty.
looks like it's got a nice like, crust on it. Like
Yeah, put that in during our category tonight, our Twitch category tonight. Proud. Did you know that this is a sandwich category now? I'm so excited about that. I was like, it's huge. Like,
there's a sandwich category now.
even if it's just for today, I'm all about it. I'm so excited. Like, it's like I had to jump in on that. we
Well
are.
played, Twitch. Well played.
Mm-hmm. And thank you, Kara. I'm glad you like it. You enjoy it like that. So yeah,
Oh,
Charlie's Redeemed
it's
Hydrate.
excellent. Yes, thank you. I will say, like Mothman and I are big believers in like the greasy spoon, little like the diner that's open like 24 hours on the corner
Mm,
of, the hot interstate kind of thing.
yeah.
Actually, another thing that gets mentioned very heavily in this book, diner diner diner
Rules of.
dining.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, rules of the road, really really big on like the greasy spoon stuff, but like a really good like a hamburger that is done on like just like that grill that's done 1,000 hamburgers. Like there's you can get into a whole other like that's a religion in itself right there. Like I mean as far as I'm concerned, a hamburger religion. There you go. There's my pitch. We're going to disown cereal marshmallows and we're starting a hamburger religion.
A burger religion. Wildness. I like it a lot. Um, let's see. Charlie's redeemed. Charlie's redeemed didn't get something from the room. I don't personally. I don't really have anything specific I can think of right now. Um. Okay. Bam Berber. There you go. There you go. Karrotte, I'll be right back. Let me go see what I
Oh, good.
have. Oh no! I got this. I got this. I got this.
I'm like intrigued about what this redeem is right now. I'm like I feel like I've missed this previously.
Yeah, there are a lot of things, a lot of interesting trinkets around this stream room I have, and one of them is these Dino pepper shakers, which they've got the little gold bow ties. I mean, since we have a Dino in the house, I figured it made a lot of sense to feature these folks again tonight. Salt and pepper. I Now which one's salt and which one's pepper? Well, I think which is the one with fewer holes? Is that the pepper or is that the salt? I can't remember. But
I want to say the fewer holes is salt,
I think
but I don't know.
we could run with that. So if that's so, this is salt and this is pepper. Look how spicy these two people are. Love it. Yeah, size
Hey,
smalls.
there we go.
There we go. So it looks like
Charlie with the answer.
Charlie. It sounds like you got it right too. So that's pretty cool. So thank you, Charlie. Appreciate that. Um, you read a lot of books in your life. I think probably like 100 times more books than I've ever read in my life. So, what have been some of the standout S tier books in your time since you've been reading books?
Oh, okay. Well, for the rest of the stream, this is what we'll be discussing. Because oh my gosh, that is, oh, that's, that you're asking me to pick some favorite chill. Okay, all right, I'm gonna try and like narrow it down to like those formative books, because obviously you can tell by the everything of this copy of Rules of the Road that obviously this was like a big formative book for me. Um, Huge shout out to Gordon Corman, an incredible children's author up here in Canada. Honestly, one of the best author stories I've ever heard in my life. He was. Do you guys have Scholastic book fairs in the U.S.? Is that a thing?
I'm pretty sure we do. Yeah, we know Scholastic well
Oh,
over here. Mm-hmm.
okay, perfect. Okay, so Scholastic book fairs. I don't know if you remember, like the glory that was the Scholastic book fair in grade school, where you'd like fill out your order and then you'd forget what you ordered and then it would magically show up for you. And then of course you'd like have the Lisa Frank folders and the big carts of books that would show up. Um, all of that to say that the that Gordon Corman, when he was in grade school, he was the Scholastic monitor for his class. So he was the one that collected the orders and then sent it into Scholastic. And he had written this book about this pair of boys that were going to a boarding school outside of Toronto. And he went, well, Scholastic is a publisher and they've got books, so like I should just like send my book to Scholastic, as a kid would do, and sent in his book with the Scholastic Book Fair order to, because he's like, no, this is how we're supposed to do this. And a bajillion books later, he is a prolific author and is just like his standard for comedy, like my entire sense of humor can probably be distilled down to reading The Chicken Doesn't Skate by Gordon Corman. That is who I am as a person in a book with like multiple POV and every, oh my god, it was just one of the best things I've ever read. That is also like I was lucky enough a couple years ago to actually finally meet Gordon Corman at a book signing, and I was the last person in the line because I didn't want to do this to anybody else, and I literally had every single book of his that I possessed. I had run around the house. I'd gone to my parents' place and found all of the books that I'd
Wow.
accidentally left there, and like showed up and basically went, I want you to sign all of these. And he literally held up my copy of The Chicken Doesn't Skate that looks even worse than this copy of Rules of the Road. And like I think a chunk of the back cover is missing with that one. Like it's like it was well loved at this point in time. And like the bookseller that was there was like, "Are you sure you don't want to like buy another copy of this book?" And I'm like, "Nope. Like this book has been through it with me." And he looks at it, he's like, did you drop this in the bathtub?" And I like very like deadpan looked, yes, multiple times. This has been dropped in the bathtub.
He's got a keen eye. Wow.
Oh, I mean, there's just something about, like wet pages, the wet crinkly pages of a book. But yes, that was like, those were like Joan Bauer and Gordon Corman. Like, congratulations, wherever you are sitting right now. My sense of humor and a lot of the things that I say to myself, like even now, I realize there's like a couple of like weird catchphrases from Joan Bauer's writing that still are like sneak their way into my everyday language, 20 years later. Um, but in terms of formative books, in like my S tier books, and I know Moffin's like sitting in the other room, like just like salivating, waiting for me to miss one here. Um, I have passionate feelings about Miss You by Kate Eberlin. That is one of the best. It was a book that found me when I needed it. Um, it was a book. It's the story of these. It's actually, what do I pitch it as? I pitch it as like How I Met Your Mother meets P.S. I Love You. Um, so very like basically there's these two teenagers meet and they end up uh they meet very briefly this one day and end up parting ways for the next 20 years, and it's about how their lives changed from that point in time where they thought they knew who they were at like 18 years old, and then the weird parallel lives that they lived from there on out. um and it was just this beauty. I'm actually getting goosebumps as I talk about this book. That is how I feel about Miss You by Kate Eberlin. um and that was absolutely that was, as I said, that was a book that found me at the right time, because there's this line in there um where this woman has just finished, she's battling with her own anxieties and her own self-conscious, like her own self-esteem, and she ends up taking this writing course and she writes this beautiful essay, and somebody says that is the sound of somebody wishing for more instead of less.
Mm-hmm.
And that line is something that'll like float into my subconscious from time to time, because like when you think about things, we're going to get philosophical again. um like when you think about, you wish for less work, or you wish for less stress, you wish for like fewer things. A lot of the time there are very few times that you actually wish for more of something, or at least that's how I found. Oh yeah, thank you, Mothman. There you go. That is actually, yeah, that one. Literally that emote is me holding "Miss You,"
That is so
done,
cool.
doodled by the fantastic Gray Shale.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love that book so much. Um, but yeah, I realized that like in reading that, I'm like, when was the last time I'd actually wished for more of something instead of less of something? And it's a something to keep in mind, like when you're having a mindfulness moment or whatever. It just, yeah, it stuck with me. um so that, yeah, that was like one of my favorites. Oh my god, I know I'm gonna miss things. I'm like, oh my god, because the stress right now, this is like basically this side of my office is nothing but bookshelves. So I am like panic looking at them to make sure that I'm not gonna miss anything. Ooh, because I used to work in a bookstore, so that's like
Mm-hmm.
half the reason that I read as much as I do. And I read a very wide variety of things. I loved I Will Not Shut Up About Bunny by Mona Awad. If anybody here is into like gothic horror, little bit of body horror kind of thing. It, oh my god, it like I finished that book last year and I literally had to stop what I was doing and like touch my face and like go like, am I actually here? Like, am I actually a real person in this moment, or am I like in the lie that this character is telling? Oh my god, it's so good. Um, that was phenomenal. I'm currently on a quest to make the entire world read The Starless Sea by Aaron Morgenstern because everybody loves the Night Circus, and personally, I think the Night Circus is good, but the Starless Sea is better. It is
Hmm.
phenomenal and just again one of those books that like found me at the right time. Um, yeah. Oh my God, Mothman, call me out. I know I'm missing things that I normally like to talk about. I feel I'm like that panicky moment of like somebody asks you what's the last great book you read, and all of a sudden you've forgotten that you know how to read. So
You've covered a lot of
yeah.
ground though, for what it's worth, and I love Mothman's comment. I remember reading an interview with Gaiman and Pratchett where they talked about how they got no greater pleasure than signing an absolutely brutalized copy of Good Omens. Now that's cool.
It's a great book. Like that is some classic like two incredible authors. Like just unbelievable. And yeah, the and honestly the like let's be honest, the TV show is also fantastic. Like it's just again that quippy snarky humor I absolutely love in a book. Like love in a TV show, love in a movie. And the two of them, you know, did that so well, especially in that book. Oh, thank you. Mothman rolling in. I full confession, I do love a romantasy, which is the big buzzword in fiction or in publishing right now. I do love me a like a Sarah J. Maas book. I am all about Throne of Glass. That is my that's like one of my comfort rereads in the fantasy genre. Oh my god, what else do I not shut up about? There's there's a couple of books that I know I'm like there's that moment of going, oh crap, need to open up my Goodreads real fast because I know that I'm missing something and after the fact I'm gonna go, why didn't I say something? So yes, this is my panicked face of like because I very much do feel a real like writing is such a solitary thing and it's so thankless in the fact that like you can go through a million different edits of a book and everybody you're going to have your editors read it, you're going to have copy editors read it, you're going to have somebody do a line edit for you, and you can work on this book for months and months and months, and then one person finds that you missed a comma in it and leaves a snarky Goodreads review, and like that's it. Like there's no coming back from that. And so I very much I believe in like anytime I read something amazing, like if and honestly this is my the best thing that I can say. If you read a good book, honestly leave a good review for it on Goodreads, tweet about it, post about it on Instagram, like put it out there in the universe about how much you loved a book. Now I realized what I was missing. I will not shut up. I'm also convincing people to read The Cherry Robbers by Sarai Walker. That was one of my top reads of last year. And if you are a historical fiction, um, feminist fiction kind of thing, yes. Oh, let's play your favorite game. Oh, what is Mothman talking about here? Oh yeah, everything Susanna Kearsley. Oh my god. Yep. Yeah. Oh, I again. This is the rest of the stream. You have no. You can literally eat order 17 more hamburgers, and I will talk about books for the rest of the night. Like you don't have to say another word. I will literally just
I
sit
love
here.
it. Um, but here's a quick before we get into everything else with Mom had a really good comment as far as your favorite game. We'll roll on that in a second. But before we get to that, really quickly, what are some of the things you look at when it comes to evaluating what your next book purchase is? Like, what do you look into? Like, how do you decide on what your next book purchase is going to be?
Ooh. Okay. So for a book purchase, I keep Mothman goes yes. I am lucky enough that I have found myself amongst this amazing group of female authors out here in
Mm-hmm.
the Toronto area. So very much I am a big fan of obviously supporting. supporting local, and that just kind of becomes a thing in, you know, shopping local in general and supporting those local authors is really big. I know I just finished reading, um, oh my god, Dream Plan Go, by Rachel McMillan. This was an author from the Toronto area that she had been asked by her publisher to write a travel book for solo travelers, and she wrote this book. And just in your mind, just like, Davey, here's a question for you. Think about when would be the worst possible time in the past couple of years for someone to have a travel book come out. Like, pick just the worst date you could possibly think of.
March 2020.
Yeah, it came out in April 2020. Um, so she'd written this amazing book about traveling as a solo traveler, um, and it got no coverage whatsoever because like of course that was early COVID. None of us knew how to do an online event. No one knew. Everybody thought like a book launch had to be in person, and of course nobody wanted to think about travel. So she basically like, and like this book, I actually I I say all this because I was lucky enough to hear her speak a couple of weeks ago at an event, and she was talking about how this book just did, like, she was talking about this travel book, and I finally like kind of put up my hand. I was like, I've literally never heard of this. And she goes, yeah, because it's April 2020, and like literally as she was talking, I was putting it on hold at my local library. And um I will say, in my local library now, her copy of the book actually has a little sticky note in it that I have left for future readers that actually writes a little thing about the fact that this is a local author and the timeline that the book came out, and that if you pick this up and if you read it, please make sure that you rate it on Goodreads, or that you put it out there in the universe that this was a good book or something that you read, because it needs more credit, because it really was just a delightful read. She got an illustrator to work on this thing. It was just this really lovely, comfy thing, that I thoroughly enjoyed reading. 5 stars. Anyways, I've completely gone off topic. This is a detour. I've gone off topic because you're asking about book purchases.
Yeah.
Um, let
Hey,
me let me roll it back.
let's roll it back indeed. A couple things. So, oh my goodness, Scott's here to music. What's good? The former Delta crab in our chat. What's going on, my friend Scott? I hope they don't get rid of the sandwiches game category. I'm with you there. Did you caught on to that too, Scott? That's great. Let me give you a shout. It's great to see you. Give our friend a follow. Streaming music over on Twitch. A lot of wild, synthesizer sounds over there. Give our friend a friend. Karrotte, the sandwiches are life. Twitch. I mean, they need to just keep that for. I mean, I know they were like, "Oh, this would be a fun joke." They don't understand. This has been in operation for almost 3 years now. Like we would like. I believe you should keep that sandwich category for perpetuity, in my book. We'll see. Book.
Well, I like it. Well, of course, my next question comes down to, like, the sandwiches song, right?
I think I might know it. This is who
Like,
sang, who did the sandwich song? I'm trying to remember. I think I heard a little
Fred
bit.
Penner.
I think I may have heard a snippet of it. Please share. I would love to hear more.
Because it's, and I mean, Fred Penner, another OG fantastic Canadian performer that, again, is probably the reason that I enjoy singing as much as I do. Because of course he had the fantastic sandwiches song. This sandwiches are beautiful, sandwiches are fine. I like sandwiches, I eat them all the time. I eat them for my supper and I eat them for my lunch. If I had 100 sandwiches, I'd eat them all at once. Yes, there
I
you
do know
go.
that
Like,
song.
that's,
I do know that song.
there's a whole thing. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. I'm glad. Because if you didn't know it, we were gonna like stop, and we're gonna live learn sandwiches by Fred Penner. That's what was gonna happen.
It's a great tune, folks. A really nice, jolly, kind of a sea shanty type tune. It's a really good stuff. Really good stuff. Mothman says, I figured out the book I was thinking of. It started with an S, but the book I was thinking of did have an M in the subtitle, so I wasn't completely wrong.
It was a foil cover. You wanted me to read it with a mask on it. Oh, hold on, Stravaganza? That one? City of Masks. Yeah, there you go.
There
That
it
is
is.
my favorite game. It's, yes, trying to figure out what somebody is talking about just by like a random description.
Oh, it's so good.
Yes. Mm.
Um, Let's give you one more before we segue to our game, which I'm very excited about. I'm telling you, folks, our friend Karrotte is one of the most creative people on the platform. It's really exciting. Um, Let me think. Um, this is a complex question because, like, that books often get adapted to movies, and sometimes they work out great, sometimes they don't. And I think the question is, what have been some of your most satisfying such conversions? And are there books that you wish could be a movie down the road?
Oh my god.
That's
Okay, so I will, because this was something that Mothman and I just rewatched the other day. Um Honestly, one of the best adaptations from book to movie, The Martian by Andy Weir. Hands down. They did such a good job of taking inner dialogue, and obviously, they had Matt Damon playing Mark Watney, so obviously they could do whatever they wanted. Um, but like there were a couple of major plot points in the book that just if they had tried to translate them into the movie, it would have been like spoiler alert, like you know, earmuffs if you haven't seen it or if you haven't read the book. But of course, like one of the big plot points towards the end of the book, or one of the big scary moments, is like they lose contact with Mark as he's on Mars and heading towards the Mav, and he's about to start driving into a really bad sandstorm, and it's like NASA panicking about the fact that they can't tell him to like turn around or like go around or do anything, and it's like him trying to like all of a sudden realizing, oh my god, I need to adjust my travel, like when obviously everything on the Martian surface looks the same. And of course, if you did that in the movie, it would just be him driving into a cloud of sand, and there's absolutely no drama to that. And all again, like, I could sit here and wax on about like being a purist in a movie, but like that was such a great adaptation. I remember loving Memoirs of a Geisha when it came out, which of course is just a beautiful movie in itself. The adaptation from book to screen was actually fairly close, and again, like you can't put every single detail in. Although I of course would watch, and I'm one of those people that if you wanted to take a book and just turn it into like an absolute scene for scene recreation and like make it a mini series, absolutely. um but I know, like, Mothman would love Steelheart by Brandon Sanderson to be a movie. Huge fan of Brandon Sanderson. He's um an incredible writer, prolific writer. um Ooh, I feel like I know Mothman and I actually had this conversation the other day, and I'm trying to remember what I said, what I wanted in terms of like there was something that I was like, yes, I would like this to be a mini series, and I'd absolutely watch it. Um, and it will come to me like in 5 minutes, and it'll randomly just be something I interject into conversation. Um, but I, I think the other thing that I would love to see, um, is I'd love to see Red Rising. Red Rising would be like, unless somebody has secretly done. Oh, there you go. We did talk about an 8-part mini series for The Martian. Fantastic. Okay, I know it. I'm good to know I'm not going crazy. Um, but yeah, I would love to see Red Rising, which was an incredible, incredible book series that I think is still going on at this point in time. But it was written by this guy who literally he was a social media specialist for like a Silicon Valley startup of some kind.
mm-hmm.
And literally all he'd written, like his big thing was like he was like managed the Twitter account, and then he wrote this incredible novel about like this sci-fi novel about the terraforming of Mars and this caste system that had popped up. And oh my gosh, like huge recommend if you're a sci-fi fan. um Honestly, Red Rising, like, and of course you'll be going through it in this beautiful language, and you'll just be angry about the fact that this was written by a social media specialist. You're like, how dare you, like, you come from the time of 140 characters on Twitch, or sorry, on Twitter, and you've written this beautiful book. Like, how dare you? On your first time out, it was his debut novel. Just angry at how beautiful it was. But oh my gosh, yeah, absolutely phenomenal. I'd love to see that. I need something to like replace the hole in my heart that The Expanse left.
Hmm.
Like that was, yeah, I need another sci-fi something that's just gonna like make me happy. Yeah, I think.
I
Yeah,
love.
watch, something else will come to me.
Well, these are great. These are great picks. Like I mean, The Martian is such a great call. Like it was one of the. I mean, I'm only speaking from the point of view of the moviegoer, but it was definitely one of the most satisfying movies of the year. And then you read the book, and it's like, damn, this is a great book too. It's like it's pretty good. So, I'm really glad to know that it did the book justice. There was definitely a lot talked about that. It's great. Um, so thanks for sharing all that. That was really really cool. Like it's great to go through. If anybody's gonna know the answer to a question like that, it's yourself. Like you've had quite a wealth of quite a. You've been, it's really cool to see all your perspective on this. It's pretty neat. So, um, yeah. I guess Mars is a really good topic for a book. I think that's what my takeaway is from that exchange.
Actually, that's a really good point because obviously, they're talking about The Martian, and maybe that's what like Red Rising just was like right at the forefront of my mind
Yeah.
of something I'd love to see. But like that was, it's a book filled with like all this kind of drama. But yeah, it's
Hmm.
there are so many. I mean, there's so many great books, and like I like I'm never like it's angering me that I will never read them all. I would love to read them all. I was so happy like last year. I think I doubled my book goal for the year, and I think I read 130 books last year, which was like that was highly satisfying. I felt pretty good about that. And yeah, so I'm a big I do love to yeah, I love to read. There's something just wonderful about, being able to escape into somebody else's imagination, and then obviously as a writer to do the same. And, fingers crossed that someone one day will be holding up, my book and going like, "Yes, I did drop this in the bathtub 3 times and then had Carolyn Howard sign this for me." So, we'll
That
see.
it would be the highest honor. Like that sounds so much. That sounds awesome. Um, yeah, Moth says, I mean, it's a plausible societal removal from current expectations with a believable sci-fi setting. I love your idea for a shot-for-shot Martian miniseries too, because I feel like there's so much with that book going on that could be a TV show. It would be a pretty good one too.
Yeah, it would be like, I mean, Mark Watney as a character is just like, and I mean, kudos to the casting. Like this is the conversation that we have every time that we watch it, and I don't know if you feel the same way, where we pause it and we go, who else could carry off talking to a camera by himself? Like, because you think about like those, like the suave front men, and like as much as everybody loves George Clooney, I don't think he could have pulled that off. Like, could Brad Pitt have been Mark Watney? I don't know. Like, and yet, Matt Damon steps into that role, and it's like, yes, absolutely, you do have the ability to like stand there and hold a scene all by yourself, and it's probably that like kind of innate sarcasm that he has that really plays into his role as Mark. So yeah, those weird questions that pop up whenever you're watching a movie are the things that you always contemplate of like who else would have been a good person in this role? I don't know. I
Yeah.
think like actually that there's my question for you. If you could have recast someone in The Martian, would you have? And if so, who would it have been?
No, I can't think of anyone specific. Like that's it was really it was like you said, like just the way they said Matt Damon portrayed that role was excellent. It was just really really well done. So I have no complaints.
No, he was very very impressive.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
no, there you go. That's my as I said, there's another book that's sitting in the back of my head that I would love to see done, and it can't quite get to the forefront of my brain. It'll get there, and it'll just randomly like spout
Yeah.
out, and you'll be like, I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'm gonna smile and nod.
Mopnas is sarcasm and humor without the losing the weight and meaning of the emotion of the setting. It's a fine line, isn't it? It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there you go. There's the insight into what conversations are like in the Karmoth household when we're watching a movie. The emotional implications of Matt Damon cracking a joke.
Yeah. I think that's really cool. I mean, I could go to the Wayback Machine and cite some examples of where it's completely gone wrong. The portrayal of a book where a book is completely not lived up to the expectation of what the one I always stick to, and this might this don't do the math on this either, folks, but the Running Man book was an amazing book, and I just like I'm so sad that the movie never got even close to like living up to what the book was. It was a great book. It just stinks that
Really? Okay, hold on. We need to add things to my you. Okay, hold on. Where's my Goodreads?
think of
This is
the
what happens. Is
if you've
people
never
mention
read
books.
it, it's like the Hunger Games before there was the Hunger Games. It was kind of the same idea.
Ooh, okay. By Richard Bachman. Okay, by Stephen King.
Yeah, pseudonym of
Okay.
Stephen King.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing math. I see nothing about the publication date on this at all.
It was an unbelievable book. I really liked it. It was just it was way ahead of its time. Like it's just such a good book, and it's very short. Like you'll probably get through it in a day. Like it's that short. Like it's really short. So um,
It's you know what? It begs the question because of course, like looking at that
mhm,
and not looking at the publication date, it begs the question of like, are we overdue for a return to like that trade paperback era? Because like that would have been on the shelves at the same time as like Sidney Sheldon books, which my parents were so mad because they like finally got rid of all the Sidney Sheldons in the house, and then I literally ran around and like discovered how much I loved Sidney Sheldon after that, and like went and bought them all back in like a different trade paperback form around that time. But like just those books around that time frame, like there's something nostalgic about, like as I said, like the fits in your pocket.
mhm.
And actually that is what I would love to see, is I would love to see some updated versions of like Sidney Sheldon. I honestly like I am still chasing as a writer. I want to write If Tomorrow Comes, but in this day and age. That was like my gateway Sidney Sheldon novel, which
Mhm.
I read way too early in life. And if anybody has read it, they know exactly why I read that. Like I was in grade 5. I should not have been reading that in grade 5 when you actually like,
Yeah,
ooh, there's some content in that
yeah.
I don't know if my parents fully like realized or remembered what was in that book. But like all of his like talking about like the mafia and all the the intrigue and whatnot. I would love to see some updated versions, and at the same time, I would happily watch a shot for shot remake of If Tomorrow Comes. I'd watch that in a heartbeat.
That sounds awesome. Yeah. Um, and that's sort of it. Like I think there are books that have come out, and you're like, this could have been so good, and it sucked. We finally, but what will happen sometimes is that you'll get your moment, you'll get your redemption. I feel like Dune has done it. Dune is a book that needed like two movies, and at least for me, like I thought it was a really nice adaptation of what was a pretty intense book.
I I have heard that. I will be fully honest. I have not seen the new movies.
Mm-hmm.
I have had my friends raving about them. Um and I need to find the time to like catch up on pop culture as I sit here and talk about 1980s Sidney Sheldon books that I'm like, yes, I want to go reread those.
But see, that's the thing. That's a beautiful thing about literature is that there isn't a specific time or type of book you need to read. You read what satisfies you, and I think it'll be different for different people. But we can all appreciate good literature, no matter like where it is, when it took place, who wrote it, and what it's about. Like I think it's wonderful that we all have different. We all have different ideas for this question or these kind of questions. So
Oh, you hit on my like one of my absolute favorite things that I love to say. And I think it's like I don't have a lot of rules like when you click into my chat for the first time, but I think literally one of my rules is like every book is not meant for every person.
mhm.
And just because maybe you didn't love something doesn't mean that it wasn't like an amazing book for somebody else. Because like I mean, literally, I was chatting with my writing group tonight before I jumped on this call, and like one of my big comfort reads in the past couple of years was Legends and Lattes. Um, and one of the members of my writing club, she just finished reading it. She's like, I don't know what the point of that book was. And at the end of the day, I happen to know that what she loves is like a family drama, like family lit fiction, like some real turmoil, and like Legends and Lattes is literally just cozy fantasy. It is highly low stakes, if you'll, bear with me on the wording there. It's like the biggest thing that happens is the characters are trying to make cinnamon buns and they don't know where they're gonna find cinnamon. Like,
I love this comment. But where will we get the cinnamon?
right? Like, how are we gonna find the cinnamon for these cinnamon buns? And like it's just legitimately, sometimes you just need something that it is just has no stakes. Like just no stakes whatsoever. And like there's I mean, cozy mystery is a really big thing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the cute little like knitting granny, actually very like murder she wrote kind of idea of, this cozy seaside town where, somebody just happens to solve a mystery but also is, trying to cultivate their sourdough starter at the same time. Like just that kind of stuff. I need to write that book actually. One second, I need to write that down. Yes, a seaside sourdough starter. That's the next book that I'm writing right there. So yes, there you go. That's the great thing from this
I love
book.
these ideas. Karrotte, you're talking about books with low stakes. Um, do you remember The Phantom Thread? Was that a book or is that just a movie?
Say the Phantom Thread, and I immediately go to the Phantom Toll House.
Okay.
And but there might have been a book for the Phantom Thread
Okay.
as well. I'd have to look it up. But yeah,
Yeah.
that was. I mean, I shout out to like formative childhood fiction, the Phantom Toll House. Yes, or sorry, the Phantom Toll Booth. That was like OG fantastic fiction.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Jamin's all that. Jamin loves it. I love it. Love that.
I feel like this is like if anything happens like from this evening, I feel like J-Man and I have like bonded because I feel like there's been a couple of like shared opinions here tonight. So like J-Man, thank you for being here. And honestly, Steinbeck made me cry. Um of Mice and Men is like the one thing that I like that my grade 11 English teacher made us read the book and I could deal with the book, but then made us watch the movie and I literally had to leave the room.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had to leave the classroom and I like walked into the bathroom like just sobbing my eyes out because if anybody remembers of Mice and Men is just yep, nope, too many feelings
It's
with that
intense.
book.
Yeah. I remember.
It was too much.
Oh, for
I
sure.
cried.
Yeah. Hey, Stuart, what's going on? Good to see you, Stuart. Welcome in. Shout out to our friend Stuart and Jillian, who of course Stuart is modding. Great to see you, Stuart. We're talking about books. We've had a lot of great discussion. But yeah, I only bring up Phantom Thread because that's pretty low stakes. It's about someone who makes clothes, and obviously
Yep.
there's no life or death situation in that movie.
It's and you know what? There's like seriously, there's nothing wrong with that at all. And like honestly, actually the person who I will always come back to in terms of like cozy is someone from your neck of the woods, Davey, Jasmine Guillory,
Oh
who
yeah,
is
yeah.
this phenomenal author, prolific, like, and she was a very successful lawyer. Um, and she finally recently, very recently, finally her publisher was like, maybe you could actually like think about like not being a lawyer anymore because your books are doing pretty good. But all of her books involve, and this is what I love, is like, yes, there's relationship drama, it's a really great kind of rom-com thing, but all of her books involve food. And every single one of her characters has like some crazy food opinion. Like honestly, it's like the number of times like people go to a taco truck, like the wedding date, literally like she hooked me in the first chapter when two people got stuck in an elevator and one of them happened to be going up to like see her sister in this hotel and they were going to celebrate, and so she had like cheese and crackers, and this woman and her eventual love interest have this very in-depth conversation about like the type of cracker that is like best for like pairing with cheese. And I was like, yeah, I'm here for this. You are now my one of my new favorite authors. If we're gonna have a conversation about cheese and crackers, I love it.
That's a good discussion topic for sure. Stuart says my wife was a publisher. How cool is that? That is super cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. J-Man says the Phantom Toll Booth had a meh movie version not a long time ago. That would be one ripe for an awesome movie adaptation.
Netflix.
Absolutely.
Gonna manifest this real fast. That I just want that again. Like, oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah, get on that Netflix. That's a great idea. Make it happen, my friends. No, that's fantastic. I can't really add more. We've already shared so many cool ideas and so many cool ideas for books, and you know, it's great to see. Thank you so much for sharing that. We can keep talking about that as we go along, but I don't want to take too much time away from the from the one shot that we're doing tonight. But and I can't wait to see where this takes us because I am thrilled with continuing through the dungeon. Now I'm a novice at the game. I think I mentioned that. But you, my friend, are definitely more experienced, and not only that, but you've got some really fun ideas for a one shot. I really also appreciate a little bit of background as to what the one shot is, but for those who are less familiar with the Dungeons and Dragons franchise, like how would you describe a one shot in that game?
Ooh, so everybody, the kind of mental image, if you're not super familiar with D&D or tabletop role-playing games, TTRPGs, is the idea that you have to, like, it's going to take months and months and a very long scenario is going to play out and you're going to go on like some grand questy adventure thing. A one shot is literally you sit down and by the time you get up, that's it. It's over. It's done. It's just a really short little snippet. um I personally love it as a game master because you don't really have to live with like the ramifications of your decisions. Like I'm very much a rule of cool game master where it's like if you say if you want to do something because it's going to be fun, absolutely go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Have the super cool whatever it is that you want. Do the crazy thing because you know what? These characters aren't going to be quote unquote like alive tomorrow, and so you don't really have to worry about what's happened to them. Um, so my this is something that my yes, Io came
Let's
powder.
go,
Thank you.
IO.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Rule of cool is the most important. It's like no one likes to be railroaded on a D&D game or a TTRPG. And I'm very much here if you've come up with something, absolutely let have at it. Like, and that's the kind of stuff that ends up with you having like if you're familiar with our friend Backspasmer, Ian
Mm-hmm.
from Danny's chat, I was DMing a game for him one day, and because I rule of cooled it, it ended up with this very iconic sentence from me of "Hold on one moment, I am just trying to figure out how to role play a seahorse," and and that's the kind of stuff that will only come up at a one shot table.
But see, I think that makes the possibilities almost limitless, and I think it's great. There's less pressure. I think it's pretty cool. Give big old shout out to our friend Iocane Powder, by the way. It's great to see you. Last week's guest, also a huge D&D fan, so we are very excited to have your participation, everybody in chat. So what we're going to propose is at certain junctures, and Karrotte, feel free to when to cite when those junctures happen. We will give you all in the chat options to make decisions in the game. So we'll put up polls and we'll make the thing happen. That'll be fun.
Yes. Yes, I think we've got some ideas, and I will fully say, and I again, J-Man, seriously, you and I feel like we need to like have a chat. Like I feel like we're like sharing a brain here. The group that embraces the shared storytelling over the urge to win is always more fun, and I so agree with that. Like that is one of the hallmarks of what I love to do is I love the storytelling and the getting into like the nitty gritty of the character of it all. So that is very much one of my favorite things. So yes,
Yeah,
totally agree.
I love that. Oh, Stuart. Oh, yeah, that's right. We should catch you up on that. I can't stop liking that trombone. Karrotte is a trombone player, And
It was it there. That's the high school instrument right there, and I am slowly getting back into it here. I am, one of those things you kind of walked away from for a little while, and I found a lot of joy. And unfortunately, obviously, for those who were here a little bit earlier on, you saw the Labski that lives in this house as well, and he has a very a love-or-hate relationship with that trombone. Because like there are some days where he's tried to sing along with it. There are some days, literally, he actually matched pitch one day, which was very impressive.
ooh,
Um, right? He's a very talented dog,
oh yeah.
and then there are other days where he could care less what I'm doing with it, and then there are other days where he just full husky screams the second I start playing, like runs into the room and husky screams.
Oh
And I
boy.
don't know if he doesn't love it or what it is, but I've got like a mute that I can put in that like deafens it so he doesn't have to listen to it. But
Hmm.
it's yeah, it's very much it's become the joking thing of like how long does it take Toby to like run into the room if I'm playing it on stream? Oh
That'd be a pull in
man, yes.
itself.
Right? It really it would just be channel point predictions
Yeah.
of like, where is he in the house? He's downstairs. Does he care today? That's the question. Does he care?
I love it. I do want to give a big shout out to all our sandwichers here tonight, like for their enthusiasm for Dungeons and Dragons on the whole. It's really great to see, and it really leads us well into this one shot we're about to do right now. Karrotte, I'll give you the floor. Like, how shall we set up the character and these scenarios?
All right. So I am a big basically the long story short with me is we were on a road trip to Ottawa at one point in time, and the passengers in the vehicle went, we really would like to play some D&D. Carolyn makes something up, and at a rest stop I scribbled some things on the back of a paper bag, a takeout bag, and by the time I got back into the car, I had some ideas, and we literally came up with a one shot on the spot. So, Davy, what you are today, your character, this is very simple. Your character is you. You are
Hey,
just going to play
I was
yourself
gonna play
tonight. This
myself.
is
Nice.
you're going to
That's
play
easy.
yourself. And I will just like, and one thing that I will say, I was hoping, we tried so hard to make the stars align this evening. Um in somewhere in Davy's neighborhood, there is a chonk D20 that is going to look a little something like this,
Look how beautiful that is,
except
folks.
it's got some, some other colors going on it. And there's a chonk D20 that will make its way to you, and you will have it. And fortunately, we've had to substitute. Well, not unfortunately, your Star Wars Monopoly dice are here, and they are going to substitute. We're not going to play a D20 system. We're going to play a D6 system tonight. So basically, that means that like when you hear about a D20, you've probably heard about like a crit or a critical hit, which is like a 20, and then of course a critical fail, which is a 1. Basically, we've taken that scale and we're going to move it down to a 1 being a critical fail and a 6 being a critical success. So 6 is the best thing that you can possibly roll this evening, and a 1 is going to be the thing that something terrible is going to happen.
That boils it down to
So
some really, I like it. It makes it a much more intense game. We'll know that action will happen one way or another. So the
exactly. Exactly. So I've one of the big things that of course as we've been going along and chatting, obviously there's a very, I think the plot hook really just kind of like screams itself, and this was the thing that at about 6:30 Eastern tonight, where I was like, oh, I know what the one shot is. The subject of the game really wrote itself in, and then I've been making some notes about other things that have popped up as we've gone along, because of course inspiration comes from absolutely everywhere. So I would say our session, our game, opens on a sleepy seaside town
okay.
where there are homes full of sourdough starters absolutely everywhere. Um, our main character, Davy, is sitting in his sleepy seaside home and realizes that what he needs is he's heard tale of this incredible sandwich.
Yep.
He's heard tale of an amazing grilled cheese sandwich, and he is going to first and again, this is what happens when we improv these kinds of things, which is honestly my favorite thing to do. He found a scroll that detailed all of these ingredients. It came. He was out on the beach one day, and a bottle came up on the shore, and he found this scroll that said, "One plump red tomato, a perfect slice of Canadian bacon,
Oh.
a dollop of olive oil in a perfect iron skillet, and, if you can find it, oatmeal bread."
That's the same book as in the book. I love it.
If you can find it, oatmeal bread, Dijon mustard, if you so desire.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a quiet day, and you've decided that this is it. This is the day that you are going to quest for these ingredients in this small sleepy seaside town.
Oh, this is
So,
fantastic.
so here's the question. You walk out your front door, and here's the question, and this is always the thing of like, for people who are just getting into these kinds of games, you can do anything. You can do absolutely anything. You as a player right now could actually decide, you know what, I actually don't really want to go questing for a sandwich. I really would like rather like jump on a bicycle and like drive down the road, and I would roll with that because that is the game that you would like to play. But if you walk out your front door and you are interested in finding sandwiches, what is the first thought that comes to mind for you as your character, as Davy, who's questing for sandwich ingredients tonight?
Well, we got to go to the local deli. They're going to have a lot of what we're looking for, right?
All right. Okay. So this is where I'm going to get you to roll your d6 in your quest. You're thinking about where can you find the local deli. All right.
Okay.
So we're going to roll this.
So you got the 3.
A 3. Okay. You realize that it is a Sunday and that the really great deli in the
Oh.
area
Ooh.
is actually closed on Sundays.
Oh. Oh, I hate that for
So
me.
you're like, you had like this really amazing like thought of like this really like thick cut Canadian bacon that you know that they've got for in spades. Like, you know, a guy who will like, you know, slice it up real nice, and like it's like almost like a backdoor proceeding. That's how great this bacon is. Um the good news is there's a place around the corner. It's a little more commercial. It's, they, not necessarily as legit as this other place, but there still is a deli in the area that you can go and get this bacon from specifically. We'll see if there's anything else that you'll find there. You know that this other deli would have like been money, but like this one with that 3, unfortunately, it's have to work for some ingredients as we go along here. So you head out the door and you start walking along the seaside. You look wistfully at this amazing deli. She's like, oh my gosh, if only it was open. And you continue walking along to, and I'm going to look into chat here for a second. You're going to walk over to the Dambreaker Deli. That is where, you know, up the road,
Yeah.
there is this really fantastic deli, or there's another pretty good deli there, run by a man known only as King, and you're a little, you're gonna see if it has what you're looking for in terms of in terms of ingredients today.
Let's give it.
So you, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, keep going. No, we got to see where this goes.
Ooh, Dambreaker Deli actually exists, but nobody asked. Well, tonight you are hearing it here first. This is why we play TTRPGs. We discover things, you know?
Yeah.
So, as you walk in the door, if you're Davey, are you a person who's gonna walk in the door and it's gonna be like a kind of a cheers moment where you're gonna say hello to everybody? Are you gonna walk in quietly? Are you gonna walk in like looking for ingredients? Are you gonna walk in with a hello? What's your vibe as you head into the Dambreaker Deli?
A heck of a question. It depends on if I've been there before. If I'm only going for the first time, got to segue in softly, quietly,
Ooh.
analyze, study the ingredients one by one, see if if they're to my liking. Does it have the kind of vibe I'm looking for? But if I've been there before, then I'm gonna say hi to everybody. Like I'm gonna say hi to the slicer, say hi to the people at the register, say hi to the people, the patrons on the inside, and mosey on up and see if I can get a number.
Ooh, okay, perfect. All right, so because you are walking it, you are asking all of the right questions. So I'm actually going to have you have two dice,
I
and
do.
with that really thoughtful gameplay, I'm actually going to have you roll both of those dice.
Okay.
You're going to be doing what we call rolling with advantage, which means that we're going to take the higher of the two dice as the winning roll for you.
All right. Let's see what we got here, folks. So this one is oh.
Amazing. So thank goodness we rolled with advantage on that one because you had the opposing ends of the spectrum. You are going to walk it. There was a potential that this could have gone a very different way, but you have been to the Dam Breaker Deli before. You've had an issue on a Sunday previously where you have really wanted some food and realized that the other place was closed. But you have been to Dam Breaker Deli before, so you are gonna walk in, throw open the door, and you're gonna what is gonna be your Norm,
Yeah,
Tavy.
exactly, J-Man. Thank you,
So
J-Man.
you're gonna walk at the door, and you're gonna just be like, and you're gonna get very convivial as you walk inside. What's your like greeting as you walk in the door?
Pump it up, I guess.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So you walk in the door, and you go bump 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 it up, and King behind the counter. He comes sliding out from the back, hearing the bump it up, and he goes, "Yes, that's right. Bun it up. Bun it up." Because of course that's how he's going to recognize your call, because this is a pretty good deli actually. You've been here a couple of times. You've been able to do things. You are lucky enough with that six. You see a couple of customers that you're familiar with. You've sat down. You've shared a sandwich with them previously. You've had some deep philosophical sandwich conversations. And you are also in luck because there's somebody who is leaving at this point in time, and there's nobody at the counter because you rolled that six, and life is going pretty good here for you right now.
It's a land of opportunity. I love where we're head where things are going here.
So you sidle up to the counter. So what is you perusing all of the different counters and obviously what's behind the glass and what's on the shelves. And I am going to get you to roll me. I'm going to get you to roll me a little perception check for what's going on here.
Okay.
So I'm going to get you to roll one of those dice again.
Let's take this one. It was good to me.
You're a natural already. You know how to put a dice in dice jail, that is a thing. Yes. Which
All right.
let's be honest, there may or may not be a dice jail on my desk here.
That's fantastic. I love this.
Just occasionally, just if you did something wrong and it just unfortunately I don't actually, I can't put that one in dice jail. That one was really good to me last session. This one can go in dice jail. This one didn't roll that well. So yes, there you go. There's the dice in dice jail.
Oh, dice jail.
Right. Yeah, dice jail. Roll better. You know what you did.
When the D20 does you dirty, straight to jail. There you go, J-Man.
Exactly. Straight to jail. All right, so that was two. Okay, so things are looking a little picked over at this point in time. It's getting towards the end of the day. So you are going to what is your priority as you walk up to the counter? What are you asking King for first?
Well, we don't ever have to worry about the cheese. The cheese is always going to be in great supply. So I think what you got to make sure that there's a good stock of that succulent, tasty, grilled Canadian. I don't know if it's grilled or not usually, but let's just say we're going for the Canadian bacon here. That's what's going to be the priority because you just don't know if it's going to be if there's going to be a slice for you, or if it is it going to be the good kind, or is it going to be that kind of one that was sitting out a while? So we have to check in that first. Everything else, I think, is going to be in good order.
Double word score for the proper usage of the word succulent.
Hey,
Yes.
Panda!
Hello. No, there's no such thing as the wrong word game. I am always here for that. You're in the right place for that one. Um, so you put this forward to King, and you say, "Yeah, I'm looking for that succulent Canadian bacon." And you really said it perfectly. So I'm just going to say that exists in canon in the game. That you said all of that. You've leaned on the counter,
Hmm.
and then somebody kind of like snaps at you to stop leaning on the glass because you're going to leave a smudge there. And a couple people at your friends at the desk or at the table in the corner turn around and they're like, "Yes." Then they start having their own philosophical conversation about bacon, and as you kind of listen, they all of a sudden kind of get onto like the difference between like pea meal and cornmeal, and things might be getting a little heated at that table now. All of a sudden, there seems to be a divisive like thick cut, thin cut. There might be a bacon related divorce coming in the corner there between these friends. Um,
It's
but
that good. I
but
mean,
King,
I can understand. I mean, I sympathize.
exactly. They kind of the thick cut is what's absolutely the best. Well, no, but you want to make sure that there's a nice crispy bacon. Well, why would you want crispy bacon? You want a nice little chew on that thing. But it needs to have a nice snap, and like I don't know what you do. Like then you're gonna have nice bacon grease. Well, I don't care if you have bacon grease. How do you not care if we have bacon grease? Just back and forth. That's all's going on here. That's voices are being raised, and King Dambreaker, the king, kind of leans there and looks at you across the the partition and goes, to be honest with you, Davy, we're running a little low. I've only got a pretty gnarly looking end cut here. Um, so but what just happened is I did just have a shipment of bacon come in straight from the wilds of Alberta. It's that wild Albertan pork. And I was gonna slice it up, but I just didn't really have time to do it today. Davy, would you be able to come and slice some bacon for me?
Oh, what a question! What a question! I mean, it depends on if the Davy character, was pressed for time, or if I really wanted to make sure I get it right. It feels like the kind of day where I feel like nothing can be left to chance. So we're gonna go back there, given your permission, to the Dam Breaker Deli, host to many different cuts for over 100 years.
You said you're a novice. You are outstanding.
Thank you.
You've embraced this right. This is the right energy. Anybody who's like watching this, going like, I wonder if I ever want to play a TTRPG. Davey is asking all, as I said, all of the right questions, saying all of the right things, and like thinking about who he is as a character and how much he wants, how much he wants that like perfect kind of bacon. And King kind of looks around and he goes, "The health inspector's not due back around for another 3 weeks at least," and ushers you into the back of the deli.
What an honor indeed.
So, thank you. I'm so glad that you recognize the honor of, you know, did our. Sorry, this is what happens as it comes to me as we go along. What an honor! You understand what an honor it is to be back in the back of the house here, Dambreaker Deli, damn fine bacon for 100 damn
Fine
fine years.
bacon. That needs to be how you market that bacon all the time. Like the home of damn fine bacon.
and it just so happens that this bacon is because it is Canadian bacon. It comes with a package that's actually got a beaver on it, and it literally is damn fine bacon. Like he's actually like got his own.
That is good.
My gosh, I love it. The merch really just makes itself at this point in time. Like you like actually, Davey, your character in this game, you actually own you got a hooded sweatshirt with bacon strips that kind of like line the zippers. And like the hood, when you flip it back, it's like on the inside it's like a little like Easter egg thing. It says damn fine. And then you flip it up and it's just like, a bacon hoodie and like a beaver on it.
Oh,
Pretty
sounds
good.
good. Smells. It gets you in the mood. Yeah.
It's a bacon scented hoodie. That's what it is. So, so
You
you
can
go.
you can tell where Davy's bread was buttered that day. I mean, clearly going after the bacon. I mean,
You had to go after the bacon. So you step into the back and there's a shining, pristine set of knives there. and a couple of all of the slicing implements that you could possibly need in the back of a deli. I'm clearly a deli aficionado, and I know exactly what's back there. Um, he passes you, an apron, because obviously you're going to need an apron, and some passes you some gloves as well, and a hairnet. And I'll actually get you to quickly roll that d6 again there.
Okay. See, we got the 5.
You actually look pretty good in a hairnet. Like, a lot of people couldn't pull that like look off. You know how sometimes the hair just kind of goes like
Mm-hmm.
everywhere. And you know what? It's actually sitting. You're having a really great hair day, and that hairnet is like not holding you back.
Hey, we'll take it.
So exactly, like, damn, maybe it's a damn fine hairnet. Who's to say that all kinds of things might exist in this world? Um, so he's gonna King goes, yes, you're rocking that hairnet pretty good. That's you're doing pretty good back there. All right, gloves on. I'm gonna pass you now. You've got all of these implements in front of you. What he gives you a big old slab of bacon, um, partially broken down. You're just gonna need to, obviously you can either cut off a hunk of it, or you're gonna try and like cut yourself some slices. What are you looking for? As you are you looking for a sharp knife? Are you looking for like a slicer? If you're gonna be cutting this bacon, what are you looking for here?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, I tell you, I mean, you trust the deli slicer's judgment here. They offered me one item. Seems like a good place to go. Um, this is a really good question. Now, bacon as it comes, if it just comes naturally, I think the slicer probably will get the job done because one could think, well, it could be like pastrami. It could be really tender, and you really need that. You really need that hand slice from that nice long blade, a nice long blade, not too thick. You don't want a cleaver, but you kind of want something fairly long, and about an inch in height. That's the perfect type of slicer, or maybe it's something around that neighborhood. That's perfect for pastrami. This Canadian bacon's a little bit tougher, much like the people up north are, right? They've been through a lot. Cold winters, harsh winds, you know, getting being the butt of jokes sometimes from the people down below the border. It's
We're
not a
sorry about that.
exactly. They get it. They deserve a lot better the free treatment than that. But so you figure you want something that can manage that can withhold the toughness of, but still very succulent. Again, even though it's tougher, it's only tougher on the edges, but on the inside, it's nice and succulent as we were talking about. So the slicer, I think, will be a pretty nice place to start. The thickness, we don't know, but I think we're thinking, when you have that Canadian bacon is known as back bacon, you don't want it to be too thin. Like in pizzas, they tend to be really thin. Get it a little bit thicker. Make it more like a pork belly. Like that seems like
Ooh.
that would be great, you know. And then the ooey, oozy goodness of the cheese. We've got like 3 types of cheeses. We'll go with like Gouda. We'll go with like um, carrot. I'll gladly defer to you for the other 2 choices, but something melty.
Ooh. Ooh. I mean, I am like, there is something just actually,
That's good,
Jay
J
does
man. I
Gruyere.
like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Um, Gruyere on a sandwich is fantastic. Um, now I'm just trying to think of, actually, I put forward to you, um, as a nice kind of crusty outside to the bread, a little bit of a Parmesan crust.
Oh wow. Oh,
It's
Parmesan.
because like that
Ooh.
Gruyere, like for me, Gruyere stands alone.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's such a nice. Here a hot take for me. It's just such a nice quality cheese, um, and just like a nice little like Parmesan crust around the outside of the bread, just to like really complement like the chew of the bacon and then like the pull of the cheese.
I'm all
I
about this.
Panda. Now I'm hungry too. I'm like, no, there's about to be like a midnight grilled cheese made here in this house.
Parmesan on the crust is a spectacular decision here, Carrot. A tremendous call. Good thinking, because I wasn't thinking of that myself. That's a really good idea. because you can make or break like a Texas toast with that. And I think you add a little bit of it on the extra. Oh, garlic toast. Parmesan can
Ooh,
be a big
mm,
time game changer. One of those. Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
That's like again, hot take. Parmesan is something you need to have in your fridge, like just at all times, because it's just it carries so many dishes. It goes with so many things.
That's fair. That's fair. Thank you, Panda. By the way, y'all making me so hungry. I baked bread today. Now I wish I had stuff to make it. Well, we're getting it. We're helping you with that part. We got the Canadian bacon for you. Back bacon for days. You got it. Slice it thick. It'll be great. You ever had the anybody? This goes to anybody. Have you ever had the $1 million bacon like that? Something along the lines of what we're thinking of. Like, make it nice and caramelized. So I think you can really get the job done with a nice thick cut. The slicer will get the job. Will do it. Yeah. Oh, thank you, everybody.
Okay. Okay. I
Yeah.
see. I see. All
Yeah.
right. Okay. As you're, you know, talking very poetically about the bacon and the pull of the cheese, King actually just kind of like puts his head on his, puts his elbow on the counter, rests his head in his hand, and all kind of starts looking like middle distance, and you kind of his eyes kind of glaze over for a moment. You get this this little moment of and I'm not even going to make you roll for this because this is just something that your beautiful soliloquy about the perfect bacon um has elicited. There's a deep emotional response going on in King's soul right now. And at one point in time he just, you can almost hear him whisper just like maple and oak, and just starts to like naming like all the different ways that you could possibly like age a bacon, or like sweet honey heat, and just you kind of for a second like what kind of background he has with this bacon, and perhaps there's some deep rich backstory as to how he ended up with the damn fine bacon from Canada at the Dam Breaker Deli with the damn fine bacon for 100 damn fine years. And you wonder if there is a whole other story to be told there about the romantic past of somebody with the bacon in the deli.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But that's a whole other different story that's going on there. But he kind of shakes himself out of things and he goes, Davey, I knew you were the man for the job. You're gonna want. And he shows you the setting on the slicer. He's like, this is you've been your scientific analogy and loving dissection of this bacon. This is the setting that you want. This is the setting that will speak to your soul. Now watch your fingers.
Right, yeah, yeah, that's good call. Good call.
And
Very important. We can
helps you.
get poetic to a point, but we also have to be safe. You
We do.
know.
We have to be safe. But you have evoked something in his soul, and he is actually going to stand there, and he is going to make sure that you are doing the right. If you hadn't spoke about bacon from the heart so lovingly, he probably would have just like gone back to the front. Like in fact, you kind of hear like a little ding of a bell, and you can kind of go. Can you get that for me? And like one of his helpers like goes and instead of him taking care of it, like he's decided to stay back here with you. Um, so I'm gonna get you because again, that beautiful you've got Dan Breaker's help, and you've got this history of bacon excellence. That is a sentence that came out of my mouth. Um, I'm gonna have you roll both of your
Okay,
d6s for me, and we're gonna see how well you did here.
let's do it. We have a 6 and we have a 4.
You nail it. That
Wow.
you with the guidance of King, and like your very your rich opinions about bacon. You actually lied it. You're actually getting ready to slice at one point in time, and you go, wait, hold on, and you readjust it, and you end up with the perfect thick slice of bacon. And you manage to how many slices are you gonna look for this sandwich or slash spare? I don't know if you believe in snacking bacon or not.
I think it depends on how big that slab is. It could be a solid 2, could be 3. But for one sandwich, I'm probably thinking like no more than 2. So probably
Okay.
just depends on how big it is. Like I'd have to. I don't remember how big it was, but even just one could go a long way. So I don't think it'd be too much.
You're gonna slice off just for you go to stop at two, and King kind of like, no, 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 that's beautiful artistry. Please continue cutting some more pieces. And you end up with these four beautiful pieces of bacon that he lovingly wraps up for you
Mm-hmm.
and passes to you. And he goes, "I'll put this on your tab," and ushers you back out to the front. And you still have all your fingers, and you've got these beautiful cuts of bacon. Um, and now is the moment that you look around the shelves and what ingredient are you looking for next? What is the next priority for you in making the world's most perfect grilled cheese sandwich?
So we covered the meat, we covered the cheese. I think we have to concede the bread because I feel like the Fat Panda Bakery in the other side of town will probably have that. Um, if that's in play,
Probably.
if that's in play.
Oh, it is absolutely in play, and I'm so glad that you anticipated what the next move was going to be in regards to you remember you saw it on social media that Panda had put out the Pandalicious oatmeal bread today that they had freshly baked. They even did like a little a little Instagram reel where like they like knocked on the crust and it was like this perfect sound. It was just like beautiful and crusty and just everything you're looking for in bread. So you've got the bacon, and you take a look around in the deli, and and King goes, oh, I know what you're looking for. You told me with your words and with your heart and with your eyes and with your bacon that you would like Gouda, you would like Gruyere, and you'd like Parmesan, and he wraps up a couple of pieces there for you as well. So
Yes. So now to answer the question, what am I looking for next? That Dijon mustard seems like a winner.
okay, that Dijon mustard. We are probably going to need a little bit of olive oil. You want some fresh olive, the very specific
Yes.
olive oil
Yes. Yes.
to put this in as well. So you kind of look around, and King goes, sadly shakes his head. We had a really busy weekend, so you're probably going to have to go next door to uh, the Jacery store. That's where you're going to have to go, to the Jacery store.
Jacery store. Well, that's exciting.
And you
Yeah.
look outside, and yes, it is. It's grocery spelled with a J. It's the Jacery store. Jocery store? Jocery store. That's better. Jocery store.
Grocery store. Well, I'm
Yeah.
excited because the grocery store has it has exceptional imported maple syrup from Toronto. It's kind of amazing. Kind of amazing. I mean, maybe not from Toronto, but let's say from Ontario. It's pretty damn amazing stuff. So I'm like, what was sparked is a new opportunity. Not only are we getting Dijon mustard, we're gonna take a chance on some of that maple syrup, straight from the can. These cans of maple syrup. I mean, this is the stuff of legend. And the J
Okay.
Mart, J Mart's actually pretty good. We call it the J Mart. We call it the J Mart.
Did we say J Mart? I like that. Yes.
Yeah. So we're going to the
Okay.
J Mart. We're taking our Gruyere cheese and our Dijon mustard. Oh no, not Dijon mustard, but and the bacon, the 4 slabs of bacon or slices of bacon. And yes, Carrie, you're right. We must assess the sauces. So yeah. Now, Jay. I mean, would you now? Can I ascertain as to whether the Dijon mustard is in good supply and does it have zing?
Ooh. I like that we're gonna have to roll for zing here. So you walk out of the Dam Breaker Deli, and as you walk past the table in the front, the the argument that had started about bacon earlier on, and as you're hearing as you're trying to track it here, you're pretty sure that the argument went through corned beef, all the way to sauerkraut. There might have been something talking about um, Wiener Schnitzel, and then somehow got into German wine, and then somehow got into acidity, and then acidity of nature somehow, and they've descended into a whole other argument about someone's mother and someone's mother-in-law, and they're just not going to be going to their house for Easter. It's not happening this year. That's, like, this this bacon argument has just it's transcended into something completely different, and that is your best guess that you can get to is that that was the proceeding of how they got to that point in the argument. You walk out the door and kind of look back. Are you gonna try and say anything to this argument, or are you just gonna walk past it and just hope that they resolve it on their own, or is this something that you think it's is this solvable in your mind's eye?
Well, it's a very subjective situation. Um, I mean, it's so emotional right now. I have to be careful because like it could come to blows, and then that's gonna put your Guerrero at risk because it's so soft and it can melt so easily. So you could have that spilling all over the place. I don't know. I don't know. There's no wrong answer to this question. Obviously, it's a very spirited debate. You want to be a peacemaker here, but you have to also let. You also have to err on the side of caution. You still have your objectives in place, but you're hoping that cooler heads prevail in the meanwhile. But we'll see. So we'll slide past the arguing couple and hope that they work out their differences with bacon.
I did a quick roll myself, and as you walk past, one of them looks up at you and looks at you with this scathing look, and you'd swear that it was like you mentioned bacon, but you're out the door before anything further happens, and you wonder if you will ever have a sandwich with these people ever again. But leaving was probably the right idea.
Yeah, I think that worked out, folks. So a little lucky there,
Yeah,
but we'll take it. Yeah.
yeah. I think that was for the best. All right, you walk up to the J Mart, and it's it's again nice. This is the sleepy sourdough town. You are things look there's still a steady stream of people picking up those like last items for the week. Things to get ready for Monday. And you walk into the store, and everything there it's just what, this is a really beautifully laid out J Mart. This is you can tell that it's not a franchise. This is a homegrown business that somebody has put their heart and soul into. One of the benefits of being in this sleepy seaside town. Um, and you head directly. You are innately familiar with this. You know the store like the back of your slice of bread, and you head directly for the condiments aisle and to assess the Dijon mustard. All right.
Oh, is
So
it? Yeah.
as you head down the aisle, you start looking at the containers, and because again you're in the condiments aisle. You're also going to find some olive oil in there as well. This is a um, very well laid out J Mart, and you get the sense that this is not the J Mart's first time, or they may prioritize sandwiches here as well. So they're trying to keep sandwich ingredients together, which is just something that's very thoughtful, and more stores should consider.
Oh yes, 1,000%. So you were hoping, yeah. So that the Dijon looks like it's well in place. There's plenty of it in stock. I love it. So we go and grab it. We're good there.
All right.
Um.
So we're gonna quickly roll.
Okay.
You are innately familiar with Dijon mustard and what you are looking for. So we are gonna roll for zing, but because you are so familiar with it, you are going to roll with advantage. So you're gonna roll both of those dice.
All right. Here it is. And we have a 3 and a 5.
Right. Your first choice Dijon mustard, the the mustard, is not there. It's a
Ah.
it's a cryptid based Dijon mustard.
Mm.
And you just it's not there. It's sold out. You can see the empty slot there. However, your second favorite mustard is there, and it is still pretty darn zingy. And you carefully snatch it off the shelf and tuck it into your arms already full of ingredients. And you go, and with that 5, I'm gonna say that you find the olive oil of preference. It's a nice, it's a good fry point. It's gonna very nicely crisp up that bread in the cast iron skillet when you get home. And you head for the checkout, and you are going to again, it's a fairly uneventful trip to the J Mart. You found what you needed. However, as you step outside with your reusable tote filled with your Gruyere and your Gouda and all of your delicious ingredients. Um, you walk outside and it is starting to rain.
Oh. Mm.
Now, the panda. Hold on. We don't. We don't want to just be a J Mart. We want to be your J Mart. Exactly. That is what is written on the sign. It's actually really nice. It's a they've given a nice like buff, and it's kind of written in that kind of old timey script because that's it's got that real homegrown J Mart feel. So you step outside and it is starting to rain, and the the Fat Panda Bakery is it's about 10 minutes across town if you're walking. Now, you've got a couple of options at this point in time. If you are is the rain going to deter you from seeking out that oatmeal bread, or do you have a plan to get there safely and keeping all of your ingredients intact?
Hmm. Well, let's think about this for a second. It depends on how. I mean, we've been getting a lot of rain over here lately, so I. That's a dicey situation. You might think it's going to be a trickle, and it ends up being a. It might end up being a boat full of rain. So what do you do? I mean, you've got that coupon to get an Uber home. Yes, but you probably save that for your trip back home, right? Um, I mean, you could take the chances. I mean, it's just been a day full of chances. But then just by chance, you snuck back into the J Mart, and there might have been there's a special on 12 no not 12 grain 15 grain bread, extra 3 grains, because this is at J Mart they go the extra mile. It's just to do it for they do it for you. So
Okay.
15 grain bread. I mean, no, it's not. What's that brown bread that they serve at the at the Cheesecake Factory? I keep forgetting what it's called. Whatever.
Oh, is it like pumpernickel or something? Or like
Yeah.
is that it? It's
It,
been a really long time since I've been to a cheesecake
does
factory.
anyone know like whatever that is? So it's a 15 grain pumpernickel bread. Let's say that's what it is.
Okay.
Suddenly, the hero realizes that this is a pretty close approximation of the oatmeal bread. But and you start looking outside. Now it's just dumping in buckets, and you're like, oh shoot, that's gonna be a problem. Um, so with all due respect to our friend Panda, well, it turns out the bakery was closed anyway. So it was happened to be. Well, didn't you say it was Sunday?
It was Sunday, and well actually I'm gonna get you to roll one of your dice again.
Okay, let's take
And
this one here. It's a 3.
they actually were in fact sold out of
Oh,
of the oatmeal bread.
wow, we were lucky.
You yep, you had the foresight before you walked out of the store to quickly pick up your phone. You phoned the Fat Panda Bakery, and you went, "Hey, is do you have any of this delicious oatmeal bread?" And they're like, "No, we sold the last one. We will remember it well, and we will you'll have to come back again at a later date for your oatmeal bread."
I,
So you scoot back inside, and you find yourself some pumpernickel, and you head back out to the entry. And you said you had for saving for literally a rainy day, you had your an Uber coupon for yourself to get a discount on the ride back home.
Yeah,
All right.
we got we've been saving that for a while too. So it was a good the timing couldn't have been any better in the spot. So the pumpernickel bread will do the job. Um, I did look up oatmeal bread while we were conversing, and it's like, yeah, that actually does look pretty good. It's kind of like banana bread. It looks. I've never actually seen it before. Now I'm seeing it like it's pretty
Okay.
good.
I feel like this is a whole this is a whole thing that we're gonna have I feel like I'm gonna end up at a bakery at some point in time doing like oatmeal bread. Like, just tell me, like, paint me a word picture if you don't have any in. Like, this is about to
um,
be like a mission of mine.
it's interesting. I'm gonna show you. Let me show you this one. I actually can show it to you. So let me copy this. If you can give me just a second
Amazing.
here, Carrot, I can get this to you.
Oh,
Um,
and
oh,
this is a quintessentially D&D moment, by the way, of like all of a sudden just randomly being like, hold on, we need to look this up.
there you go.
Ooh, okay, that does look really good actually.
Yeah,
Okay. Ooh, okay. These like giving me ideas as we go through this epic sandwich construction that's gonna happen.
yeah, yeah. I mean, they really did well for themselves with this oatmeal bread. So, okay, we realize that we're gonna make some sacrifices to make the sandwich happen, but I do think that the pumpernickel will still be pretty good. Um,
Should should play nicely with the sweetness of the Gruyere and the heartiness of the Gouda on the inside. I think you're still gonna get a couple of good things. Did you? Oh, yep. Okay. So you order your Uber and you jump inside, and unfortunately, right as the Uber is pulling away from the J Mart, you realize you didn't look for maple syrup,
oh, that's right, the maple syrup.
and you kind of you press your hands to the window, like no, like I will return for you. Just like, Titanic moment of like
Yeah.
hand to the window of like maple syrup. Um, and that's something that gets to live in everybody else's minds for the rest of the evening. Uh, and you head back home and you start laying all of your ingredients out, and it looks as if you've actually got a fairly good array. You've got what you were looking for, that zing to the mustard, everything's looking pretty good. So now we're gonna see how successful you are at building your sandwich, and we're gonna see if everything's gonna turn out okay.
Okay.
So we're gonna heat up the iron skillet. This is something you're very familiar with. You like a toasted sandwich, and so you put a little bit of olive oil in there, and you get the nice little bit of a sizzle, and you start buttering. Actually, here's a question: Are you a believer in like mayonnaise on the outside of a grilled cheese sandwich, or are you like an old school butter person?
Well, that's what's really interesting about that. I've actually been. I still would side with the butter, but the olive oil as the base, as my base in the pan, has been my go-to for a while. It's kind of neither.
Ooh.
That's always been my move because it spreads more evenly, and it still is really, really good. Like but I did. I should answer your question directly. I'm still a butter person. I still go butter.
Okay. No, it is all good. Your sandwich know-how is really serving you well as you go through building your sandwich.
Hmm.
You put a little layer of the Dijon mustard on there, and you lay the bread beautifully down, and you let it start to toast a little bit on the bottom side.
Hmm.
And now, are you gonna go bacon first? Are you gonna start melting cheese? What is your belief in your grilled cheese
Oh,
sandwich?
it's okay. So we're assuming that the bacon is not cooked yet. So I
That is a good point.
think we're cooking that first.
Yes.
And the side benefit of cooking the bacon first is that you'll get that bacon grease on the pan, which could augment the sandwich. You add the butter there too.
Okay. Amazing. All right. So you go to lay the bread down, and you go, wait, that's right. Person in my head that's directing me on the sandwich building here. You need to shut up for a second. We're gonna cook the bacon first, and you're gonna put the bacon down. Now I'm gonna need you to roll for bacon,
Okay.
and you're gonna roll because again we have proven that you've got some real bacon love in your heart. I'm gonna get you to roll both of those dice, and we'll take the higher one.
Okay. Let's see what we got. So we have a 1 and we have a 4.
Okay. What were you hoping for, like super crispy on the bacon, or what was your kind of your intent? Do you like it well done, or you like it like with a little bit more of a chew to it? What were you aiming for with this bacon?
It really depends on what type of bacon it is. but I definitely don't want to overdo it with the crisp because then it's just too dry. So we definitely want to go with something a little bit. We do want that nice crisp on the outside, but we still want some chew on the inside. So I think generally it's probably going to be a nice, huh? Think of it like a pork chop. Think of it like a pork chop. Yeah. So you have a good crust on the edges, but you still have a pretty nice juicy inner, more or less. I mean, it's not going to be too juicy because it's back bacon, but it's still going to be pretty good. And
Okay.
if you've ever had it right off the pan, it can be quite. It's quite a lot of flavor because it's kind of got this little sweetness to it as well. So it's going to go great with the Guerrero. So yeah, I think that's where we're going.
I'm choosing to believe that how you talk about bacon or how you're talking about bacon this evening is how I talked about books earlier on. Like just just like highly in depth with just like lots of like niche opinions about this, and I'm actually really enjoying it.
Thank you.
So you go to cook the bacon, and like you bought, you had two extra pieces just in case something went wrong. With that four, you notice just in time that one of the ends of one of the pieces of bacon is starting to get like a little bit overdone, but like
Mhm.
you manage to grab it out of the pan and pat it down before anything goes too wrong with it, and then you plop. I'm assuming then you plop the bread into the pan to get it mingling with some olive oil and some of those that bacon
Yeah, I
greasiness
would
going.
say so. It's gonna be an interesting mix there. But yes, I think that's the process. I think um yeah, the olive oil is a good idea because then you don't want if it's just bacon grease by itself. I mean, it actually would be pretty good, but if you really want that to be crispy, that bread to have a nice like crisp, I think the olive oil is gonna help in a good way. So we'll throw that in there. We put
All
the
right,
bacon out to the side. Get the cheese
perfect.
going.
Off.
Well,
Perfect. And you realize at the last second you want to give a little bit of that Parmesan crust, so you like throw a
yeah,
little bit of that down on the pan as well.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Very, very good call. You put that on the outside. What you're doing on the inside of that sandwich. So, bake cheese. Do you do this? Compare it like you put the cheese layers, bacon, more cheese. That's usually what I do. You're sandwiching
Okay.
inside the sandwich because that way the cheese can fully envelope the bacon or whatever meat you may have inside.
Okay. I sorry, no, I'm literally writing down sandwiching inside the sandwich because that is that you know what? I feel like there's like a life lesson in there somewhere, and I'm like that needed to be commemorated forever. Like that is literally on the list here now is sandwiching inside the sandwich.
Thanks.
Um Again, the merch basically makes itself. Like you have a fourth wall, right? Yes.
No, this is stuff I'm behind on. I should do throne and
Okay.
fourth wall and things like that. So
Okay. We're gonna start you a fourth wall with like all of these things that were like the all the random things I've written down tonight. That's what's gonna happen is we're gonna put together some logos for you like Dan Breaker Deli, Dan Fine Bacon, and and then we'll go from there.
this is excellent.
That that bacon hoodie is, yeah, it's really screaming out to me. It's gonna look really great. Uh So you're gonna sandwich within the sandwich. You had a little bit of tomato in the fridge that you're gonna do a little slice in there as well. Just to add a little bit of like freshness and acidity into the mix of this because it's a fairly like it's gonna be a rich sandwich,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
also believe very firmly in putting tomato on a sandwich. I think
Oh,
it's
a
it's
grilled cheese sandwich, absolutely. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, absolutely. So you go and because you are a sandwich artiste, you go to make the flip in the pan, and I'm gonna need you to roll for flip,
All right.
and you're gonna roll one dice for this because this is quite a sandwich going on here.
Yeah, you're right. This everything hangs in the balance of this flip. Will the
Yep.
spatula come through for all of us? The three.
All right. You go to flip this sandwich, and you have this moment, and you always believe in you got to flip with confidence. And right as you're lifting and just starting to tilt, you take your eye off the bacony prize on the spatula and think for yourself, think about for just one moment of like, but like, what if I'd gotten that oatmeal bread and right as you go to flip, the bottom, what was the top, suddenly falls off the sandwich and goes sliding onto the floor. You still
Mm.
have the bottom piece with that perfect Parmesan crust.
Hmm.
You've got you've got a layer of Gruyere. You've got the bacon is still there, but the tomato and the other half of cheese and the other piece of bread has gone off your sandwich at this point in time.
Oh no.
And, and you are going to have to, at this point in time, the the bacon is cooking, the cheese is melting. What are you going to do?
Can we salvage the other half of the sandwich?
Are you going to do an open face sandwich, or are you about to see if you can bring
Oh,
another like piece of bread into the mix, or
oh
what are you going to do?
wow, the whole half came off. Mm.
Yes.
Could you try to put it back?
Ooh, I think you know what. I guess we're gonna get into another discussion about like the 5 second rule. Because I it's gone. It's landed on the counter. It's kind of skittered across the stove top,
Oh,
and
it's not
it's
that. Oh, I didn't realize that.
yeah.
Okay,
It had
man.
a little bit of movement to it.
Okay. No, I can't salvage that. I don't adhere to the 5 second rule. Counters is closest is as close as you're gonna get though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you still got half a great sandwich. Just fold over what you got in the pan.
Oh, and there you have it. You take that moment, and even though you are minus a piece of cheese and that tomato, you still have got that perfect Parmesan crust, and you fold that sandwich over in the pan, and you press down to just make it that beautiful. It's it's only going to be a little half a sandwich, but it is all of a sudden that half becomes a whole in your heart,
Yeah, yeah.
and that first bite of that sandwich coming out of the pan is absolutely perfect because you have salvaged a situation and you have supported local businesses like your J Mart and your Danbreaker Deli, and that is a beautiful sandwich that you have in your hand.
Ah,
And there you go. There
terrific.
is there is your sandwich related one shot that we have made up on the spot.
Hey, everybody give a round of applause to our friend Karrotte. That was awesome. Great job. Great setup.
I normally have a little more characters. I've got people that we'll see what happens here. Yeah, we'll see if at a later date the bacon argument comes back into play at some point in a future game. I've
Yeah,
got characters that kind of roam around in the back of my head. So
yeah.
yes, there you are. That is my a little bit late at night random one shot of sandwich related proportions.
I do hope one day we get to try the Fat Panda Bakery oatmeal bread because it just sounds so delightful. Like,
I feel like there are going to be panda bandits at the Panda Bakery, and you're going to probably have to save them at some point in time.
ooh, Panda Bandits. Oh man,
Yes,
this becomes an adventure.
the Panda Banda Gang, the
Panda,
Banda, the
Panda Banda.
yes,
Oh
the
wow.
Banda Panda Gang. That's what's yeah. It's a very like a tongue twister gang.
Yeah.
They're really big into wordplay. Like
Oh, that's the wildness. That's
it's and yeah, that is about it. And I'm very much looking forward to you getting your hands on the chunk.
oh, me
I'm
too.
hoping that no one I'm hoping that that package arrives and gets to the right address. But other than that, I would absolutely love to like again, this is TTRPG like light. And I'm hoping at some point in time we'll actually be able to like do a proper game at some point in time.
Oh, definitely. I mean, we've certainly drummed up some great interest in this game. So, as time goes on, I think I'd be glad to get you back. We can do some more extensive games. We could even do a full game. We could get other people involved. It seems like a really fun idea.
It's genuinely, and as I said, like you asked the right questions
Hmm.
like immediately, like you just like glomed on because one of the big things that it's like, or one of the bigger issues is as you're teaching people this game, and I know that I was very much guilty of it when Cole finally got me into playing D&D, is like looking for permission to do a thing and like going, is this, can I do this, or should I do this? And the answer is just yes. Like if this has come to mind, absolutely do it. And like you immediately like just like seize the storytelling of like, absolutely, I've got an Uber coupon. Like, you know what? The second you say it with like decisive confidence, absolutely, I will allow you to have an Uber coupon. So there's the inherent rule of cool right there. If you'd told me that there was a scooter outside of the grocery store that you wanted to, or if you'd said you'd wanted to go to the bakery anyways, well, I would have had you roll. Maybe there was like a bike share. Maybe there was going to be somebody there with like, maybe there was a horse. There was like a mounted police officer that was going to give you a ride to the Panda Bakery. I didn't know. Something might have happened if you decided that you were going to venture out into the rain. And maybe we would have had a scooter chase. I don't know. Well, all things that are happening in an alternate universe in that one shot at this point.
It's fantastic, and your role as a DM has been terrific. It is a huge part of what makes a game like this a success. Your creativity has driven a lot of the excitement of this game, and I imagine others like yourself can do the same whenever they do one shots. So it's pretty cool.
Absolutely. That's a big question. Like I know one of our nothing clever to say just finished running a learn squad over on Danny's channel, talking about like running a game, and I think that's the idea of like taking a game and being in charge of it is a very scary thing. Like
Yeah.
I know the first game that I ever DM'd was, I was only DMing because Mothman had final exams, and we needed somebody to run a game for a weekend, and I know the amount of prep that I put into it was like, it was a lot. Like there were pages of things that you could find in this location, and I had backstory for like everything. And at the end of the day, I was like, oh, I really did not like. Yes, that amount of prep was great, but I probably could have gotten away with like maybe 4 hours less prep than I actually did. And and I think honestly, the big thing that we can say to anybody who's ever thinking about running a game or participating is, it's not as scary as you think it is. And at the end of the day, your players will always be smarter than you are. They will always come up with a way better idea or a way better solution for anything that you could possibly do. And there have been many, many times where like we've posed a question to players, and because they were smart about how they answered the question, that just became the answer. Like I ended up running a one shot for one of our D&D groups on a day when another DM was absent, and the players immediately had an animosity with this other group. I'd set it up like a kids like sports day, and they immediately started like chirping these kids that were in this one shot with them, and so it turned into like this grudge match that I was not anticipating at all. I had like a rules set for like points, and like it was, I'd created this whole other world, and then it just became like people trying to like murder each other in on like a children's color team game day, and that was probably one of the most, that's one of the most amounts of fun I've ever had in a one shot. Steamin', I spent honestly, I think I stopped counting, and like this was the first one shot I ever ran, and I think I put in, oh my god, like I know it was over 10 hours for what was like realistically like 2 hours of play. Like I did not need to put in that much time. And of course my players asked again questions that like after the fact, it was like, of course this was everything that was going on. And yeah, oh no, trust me, I am, this household, the Karmoth household is all we prep a lot. We do a lot of, we like to have plans on plans and whatnot, and this, which is the reason why I like doing like little improv game nights like this. It's just kind of, it's very freeing to just kind of go like, okay, we're gonna have things happen, and it is what it is. And yeah, this is where the fun kind of comes in. But yeah, there's a certain amount of time where it's like, okay, yeah, you probably spent too much time prepping for this one shot.
Yeah, I love it.
This was 3 hours of gameplay that no, I did not need to spend like 15 hours on
But you
it.
can save it for a future game too, though. So there's a positive to that too. Steeman, great to see you. By the way, our friend Steeman, friend in the chat. Give our friend Steeman a follow. Let's hear it for Jamie, one of our mods. What's up, Jamie? Good to see you. Um, Jamie,
Ooh,
we just had spent a we were role playing me getting ingredients for a sandwich and making the sandwich, and it was quite good. It was a tremendous and inspired by the book you were the roads of
there you go. Rules
rules of the
of the Road
yes,
by Joan Bauer. Yes.
an excellent
Yes, because
excellent.
yes, because that was my contribution to sandwich night was a delicious description of a grilled cheese sandwich as put out on pages 165 and 166 of Rules of the Road.
It's all good. We added Canadian bacon to that, and we did partake of the Dijon mustard. Um, Half of the sandwich was sacrificed due to a carriage error that sent some of it onto the counter, but we salvaged the other half, and it wound up being really good. And the Parmesan crust was a really good call, Carrot.
I respected your game in going for like the tri cheese, like the trifecta. And you know what? I just like I felt like you had a really good thing going on with the Gruyere, and like adding that like textural element was just gonna be it was just gonna really elevate it from like an average kitchen experience to just like, some real like fantastic kitchen island dining.
I love it, Carrot. Thank you so much for your. I appreciate that so very, very much. Stuart says I feel like having a sandwich now. That's what we've done our job.
Right? Right? Buns up. Exactly. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, King Dambreaker would say at the Dambreaker Deli.
We gotta go check out that Dam Breaker Deli and the Panda Baker, the Fat Panda Bakery.
Mm-hmm.
And then the J Mart. The J Mart was awesome. Like the J Mart saved the day. J Mart had it all. Had all the important stuff going on. We missed on the maple syrup, but we'll have a shot at it down the road. We'll be back.
There's probably like a nefarious maple syrup plot going on somewhere that's a whole other game that you're gonna have to go out and like tap a maple tree and like venture into the Canadian wilds. There's there's a whole subplot going on there that immediately my brain goes, yes, we could there's some really fantastic people that you would meet on a maple syrup related one
Oh
shot.
my. Oh, look at this. We're gonna have some fresh sourdough bread. Now that.
Mm,
Oh. Oh.
mm. Plus
That.
two to boost damage.
That's quite a probable situation, Steeman. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. There'll be a friendly moose and not so friendly moose. I immediately, I'm not gonna lie. There's the person running the maple syrup farm
mhm.
is literally a person that I know that I know that Cole somewhere is laughing right now because he knows exactly who I'm gonna have running this maple syrup farm. And yeah, that's very much the moment of, yeah, rolling a little bit of Quebecois French into things. And it's yeah, it's, oh my gosh, this is what I love about all of this is you're just like, this is such a good reminder, especially as somebody who loves to write, that this is that moment of just getting to create with abandon, and just, yeah, having a good time with it,
What
and
a
obviously having somebody lovely to play with as well is just wonderful.
thank you, thank you. Well, you did. I mean, you made that so easy for all of us. So thank you so much for an incredible job, like creating the game, organizing game, and moderating too. Like it was helpful at certain points of it. Um, will they be standing on a picnic table? Yes. There you go.
He knows exactly who's running this maple syrup farm at this point in time.
Oh my. Getting after a picnic basket. Hey, boo boo.
Oh my gosh. It will be, yes, he's gonna stand on the picnic table and just yell at everyone. Anyways, just totally not inspired by somebody that we know in real life.
That's funny.
Which is just the best part of any of this. I fully, there was a one shot that I ended up running, and this was probably the most complicated one I came up with in the shortest amount of time. We had some people visiting from overseas, and we were at brunch, and they were like, we'd really love to play, a one shot. And I started making some notes at lunch, managed to like got home, like found a couple of maps and went, okay, there we go. This is the game that we're playing. I'd actually just finished reading Shout Out to Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher, which was just glorious, glorious one shot material. Um, and then basically gave all the players, I'm like, you know what, I didn't have a lot of time to prep, so we're going to give you all secret quests, and made the least talkative player at the table the secret like savior to this entire session, where he was the one that everybody was going to want to try and save and keep alive at the end of the day.
Plot
And
twist.
it was just, oh my gosh, it was so much fun. And again, just playing off of like who this guy was in real life, and him being a little bit quieter, I was like, of course I'm going to put him absolutely just center of attention, and make him have to deal with the ramifications of people trying to like kidnap him and run away with him at the end of the game. So yes.
Everybody has a
Top,
role. This is so good.
exactly, top tier fun. And then Mothman murdered everyone, and that was the end of the game.
Oh,
So there we go.
too bad. Too bad. But that's the beauty of it. It's like it really can't go in any different direction. It's impressive.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Karrotte, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. This has been extremely fun. I appreciate your time and all the work and all the prep you did to make this happen. You're very kind to do this, and I'll just remind everybody else that just exclamation point guest to get to know more about our friend Karrotte, doing really great creative things like this all the time, every week on Twitch. So give her a friend to follow.
Oh, thank you. It's been just a pleasure to be here. I know you and I wanted to collab with you for ages. I absolutely love everything that you're doing on this channel as well.
Thank
Like,
you.
your the whole variety streams that you've got going on are just so much fun, and it's always just a pleasure to get to hang out with you and have that excuse tonight, because I know we're in very different time zones, and basically going, okay, this evening we are going to stay up and we're going to hang out with Davey, and that's what we're
Aw.
doing. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely. All of that is mutual. I've been looking forward to doing this for a while as well. I'm glad we've arrived at the moment, and I'll let you know, like as we do karaoke streams, you are always invited to those. So keep you in the loop on those as they come around. So shall be a fun time. But
Perfect.
absolutely. Friends, if you missed any part of the stream tonight, you can catch the replay right here. We have a VOD on Twitch. We are in the sandwich category. We hope to stay there in the foreseeable future. We'll see if Twitch will allow that. But meanwhile, let's go find someone to raid. A shout out to the mods too, King and Jamie, and by extension Stuart, although an honorary mod for us here. Thank you so much. Mod love in the chat. Let's see who we are gonna raid. Karrotte, I know there are some cool other people that you would like that you might be on your radar. Feel free to suggest some people
Oh
for us.
gosh, who do we have that is just fantastic? Oh my gosh. Oh, I don't stream on Mondays, so I'm like, there's all these people streaming that I'm going, oh my gosh, like, look at all these options. I actually don't. I was gonna say, I see another person streaming in sandwiches right now. You are not the only sandwich streamer.
Was that
Yeah,
right?
we've got our one of our friends, Benviev, or Beneviev, who is doing some Lego building in the sandwich category tonight. Who else do we have that's doing? I'm like, who else is doing some fun stuff here? I see there's lots. Honestly, there's lots of great people going live right now. So
That's
I
great.
uh, I tr- I trust your direction of the raid. I just love the fact that she's also streaming sandwiches.
I do. Too. Oh, this is great. Beneviv sandwich time. It's perfect. And by the way, Beneviv is only 18 followers away from 700, y'all. Let's go follow and make that happen. We could probably
Oh my god,
get.
absolutely.
We can get Beneviv very close, I think. So just shout, just in case anyone gets left behind in the raid. But Beneviv, I think I got that right. Yeah, I
Oh my
love that.
gosh,
It says they're streaming sandwiches. It's so good.
that is so good. I had to go hunting for my mod love emote. How dare it disappear on me for a second there? But yes, huge love to the mods as always.
Oh, 100%. So, folks, thanks again thanks again, Karrotte. Folks, can we get some raid calls in the chat? Mods, let's go get those raid calls. We're gonna go raid Benevev, and get to know an awesome. I'm never saying no to Legos. Like Legos are always fun for me, and they're streaming sandwiches even better. Um,
Yeah.
oh no, that's not working.
Uh,
Huh? Thought that would have worked. Sorry about that. I'll fix that.
no, I Twitch is just too excited about streaming sandwiches. That's what it is.
Twitch is like thinking, "Oh, this will be a fun gag," and they don't realize like thousands of channels that are doing this today. They're like this. I feel like I hope we can convince them to keep it tomorrow. We'll see. Time will tell.
I I'm hoping that this is just, yeah, this is a new thing.
Yeah.
Let's fingers crossed.
Same. Thank you, Carrot. Let's go raid. Good night, everybody. For now, we'll see you soon. Definitely on Wednesday. Possibly tomorrow over here. Carrot, when are you on next? Are you on Wednesday, I believe?
I normally stream Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern
Mm-hmm.
and Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern. We're going to be doing a writing raid train coming up here on the 13th of April, which is going to be the middle of the night for you. So never mind if you're on the West Coast, because I'm going to be going at 6 a.m. Eastern as a part of the weekend of Writing Wildly.
Oh
But yes, we're
wow.
all about it's one of my favorite things to do on Twitch, and it's basically just me for 2 hours running writing sprints and screaming at people to accomplish their dreams. That's
Oh,
that's all it is.
that sounds like fun. Well, I hope if I happen to wake up in the middle of the night and I catch you on, I'll pop in and say hello. that,
Perfect.
that sounds like fun for sure. All right, but y'all go follow Beneviv when we get over there and show some another sandwich category streamer some sandwich love. Let's go over there and say hello and hang out with the vibe with the Legos. Good night, everybody. Thank you so much. Take care, everybody. Y'all have been great. All the best. And yeah, make sure to follow Beneviv when you get there. Bye, everybody.